All right, and we are live with Dungeon World. Adam, take it away.
I will. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are we doing? Are we excited to play Dungeon World?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Good. I'm glad. So yeah, we're gonna spend the next couple of hours playing some Dungeon World. I am joined by Stephen, Neil, Maggie, and Kira. Hi, everybody. Some of you I see all the time. Stephen, some of you I have not seen in a long time. I was thinking about this, Maggie. Have we ever played a role-playing game together before? Or are we just like ships in the night?
I don't think we have. We should.
No.
I
Oh, well,
mean,
here we are.
I
Good.
feel like we should be
We're
playing more,
solving the
but I don't think we
problem.
have.
And Kira, I think you and I are the rare exception to the group. I think we've played more games in person together than we have on the internet.
That's possibly true.
Yeah, which is weird. Playing games face to face. What's that about?
I don't know. Yeah, I remember you played an evil wizard in Fall of Magic. That's it.
That's true. Oh God, that character was an intolerable prick.
A delight. A delight.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So normally in a longer game of the Dungeon World, we would we'd go through all the steps of character creation together and do all that. But we are down to a limited amount of time, and I want to get as much out of the game as we can. So I've asked the players to assemble their characters in advance, and we've left off only the putting them together part. So I think what we should do to start is just do the character introductions, and then we'll write our bonds, and then we'll go into it. Stephen, do you wanna start? Tell us what class and race you're playing. Tell us your look options. You can tell us your alignment if you like. Give us an idea of what your character is about, and I'll probably ask you some questions as we go through that process so that I can figure out where you fit in the universe.
So let's see. There's nowhere on the character sheet in Roll20 for look options, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to just like choose them on the fly here. But I am Dagolier, the Elven Bard, and I think I have fiery eyes, fancy hair. There we go.
Nice.
I'm wearing traveling clothes, and I have a fit body.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it's like a sexy elf man.
I basically role play myself in the game.
But he's a dwarf. He's a sexy dwarf man.
Where's the button to fire Steven from the game?
Just like shoot me to the moon in a rocket. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So you're a bard. I think you're the only elf in the party. So let's talk about your bardic stuff. So what did you choose as your frame of knowledge? Like what's the
Why, Adam? I chose a bestiary of creatures unusual. Of course.
So you're a creatureologist.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. And why that? Why does Dagolier? Why is he an expert in? Is your character's a man elf?
Yes, I'm a man elf.
Okay. All right. So why creatures unusual?
Why creatures unusual? I think Dagolier is something of like a natural philosopher. So like he's like exploring the realms and looking at like the evolution of creatures and how they like how they live and how they've what their ecosystems are like, that sort of thing. He's probably got like a notebook with him where he's like, oh yes, the furious one-armed Sam Squanch, eats these things, and he has this kind of complex matriarchal social structure, and et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So where did you learn that? Is this a thing that you just picked up? Was it passed down to you by someone else? What's your heritage of your knowledge here?
I think it's probably there's probably like some sort of small gentleman's society where it's like all of us are trying to like one up each other on like collecting the most ridiculous and outrageous information on creatures unusual.
Nice. Okay, that fits quite nicely with some stuff I had in mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like an information gatherer.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the gentleman scholars of whatever famous college of whatever.
Yeah, and is that a thing? Is it like an elf thing, or is anyone welcome to join this?
Let's say it's
learning?
an elf thing.
Right. So no humans allowed.
No.
Okay. All right. And is that kind of asshole behavior normal among elves, or are you just like kind of a dick because all your friends are dicks?
I think it's normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So why is that? Why do elves think they're better than everybody else?
Because we live forever, dude. Like,
Okay.
come on.
That was going to be my next question. So how much of forever have you lived so far?
Half.
Half of forever? Okay. It's good. I mean, elves probably don't track time in years. The year is too small a measurement of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you've been around a long time.
Yes.
Okay. And what's your method of performance? Like, are you a singer? Are you?
I have my father's mandolin, which I have repaired, and so
Right.
of course this is like some multi-thousand-year-old artifact thing, and that has been like carefully hand resculpted into its current form, and yeah.
Got it. Okay. Is your pop still around? Did you get this as a funereal gift, or
he probably is still around, and like probably he was sort of like he followed a similar path until he outgrew it. Like now he's an older gentleman elf, and he looks down on those sorts of things. He probably wishes that his son were wiser and didn't have to go through that phase, but
Got it. Okay. All right. So this is you're sort of seen as a bit of a dandy among other elves.
Definitely.
Okay, but it's kind of like socially acceptable. You're on your you're during that period of your life where you're allowed to kind of be a goon.
It's like the teen millennium years. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. So your family then is hoping that your mandolin phase will end like your father's did.
Yeah, probably.
It's cool. We all go through a mandolin phase. Okay. Cool. So what's like one thing that you are like desperate to learn? What's something that like drives you to discover the secret of?
I don't think I know enough about the world yet to answer that question.
Right. So you have a question about questions.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think, I'm trying to like find, the most dangerous of creatures and, maybe like capture one and stuff it and mount it on a wall or something so I can smoke a pipe and be like, oh, yes, I fought this beast. It was a mighty thing. That sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
With all my elf buddies. And then we can guffaw about how stupid the humans were.
So, I mean, I'm getting kind of like a Rudyard Kipling, like British colonist kind of vibe from you.
Yes.
Is that just you, or like are elves kind of like imperialistic colonizers?
Like maybe, I think it kind of is like the British Empire in that it's like the elven civilization is really small and really insular, but they feel like they own the place. And so like they go around pompously acting like they own everything else.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. All right.
I think our characters are going to get along.
Excellent.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. So, yeah, Maggie, why don't you tell us about your character?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, tell us your name, your character's species, and what class you're playing. Give us a brief description of the character, and then I'll grill you for some more information.
Okay, so I am playing the Immolator, and I keep saying Immolator. It's
So the other class I wanted to play.
The background of my character, I kind of made it with Twitch, so this is creation from you guys. And she's a salamander, and her name is Viconica Sligny, and she kind of has a little title that we've come up with her. So it's Viconica Sligny of the Ashen Wind, a worshipper of the flame dragon, Solaris Pyrus.
So I want to hunt her.
Right.
Oh, don't make me into one of your decorations.
Your head would look smashing on my wall.
No, I mean that's the rule, right? Like the best way to show your piety to a god is to hunt it down and kill it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that could be the thing that you'd want to do, I suppose. But
Cool.
come at me, Stephen.
Is Visconia a what is their gender?
So she's a female.
Okay.
I know I've played a lot of gender benders, but this time we're playing a female character, and she has ashen gray skin. So she's like gray salamander skin and like flaming red hair, or not red, but yeah, like yellow hair, and she has a tattoo of the Ashen Wind insignia on her face. So
we say salamander, that's just there's no other information in the game about what that might be. So what is it? Like, are you like you have like a snake tail? Do you have scales? Or is it just like a term for a kind of human? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Are you literally a small four-legged amphibian?
So I kind of stand on my my back two legs, but I do have scales, but they're gray scales, and I kind of have like claws, like a lizard does, and I have a tail. But I do have, like, my hair is like not like regular hair. It's kind of like scaly looking hair, but it kind of looks like a mane. It's kind of cool, more like an iguana type of thing.
Right, like I think they're called frills.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Frills. I got some frills going on.
Nice.
I am guys. I didn't say. I
thrilled to hear more about your character.
Boo.
Sorry, I'll get it all out of the way now. Okay, so you're an immolator, or if you prefer, you're an immolatrix. I personally like that one, but it's up to you.
I'm down, sure.
So your class is predominantly about making sacrifices. Now, is this for you a literal, like, making sacrifices to the flame dragon kind of thing?
Yes.
Or is it just more like a philosophical, like, to get ahead, you have to destroy things?
In her mind, like, because she loves, like, the flame and the fire, and it kind of fuels her desires in life. And so her thing is that everything should be sacrificed to the flame dragon. So unless you can live and withstand the fire, you probably don't deserve to live.
Nice. Okay. So like so is there an organized religion around the flame dragon, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are others who follow the same cult of strength. Okay, cool. So is it sort of a might makes right philosophy? And if you're not tough, then the fire will just eat you up.
Mm-hmm. And she thinks that basically, the flames will cleanse you of your earthly afflictions, and basically the world is defiled, and that the flames will be what will cleanse it. So she's kind of a little crazy.
I don't think she's that crazy. We'll see. Cool. Okay. So you learned your immolation powers from that organized religion. Did you have like a mentor, or? Yeah,
well, it kind of was. I just was brought up that way. So my father.
Oh, so it's like like a culturally dispersed thing among salamanders.
Yeah, we're part of a clan, which is like the Ash and Wind clan, and so like that is kind of just what we've grown up to know and come to believe.
Right, and so does the flame dragon have like enemy deities that are not as into these things, like among the salamanders, or is it like if you're a salamander, you're probably at least like a casually non-practicing worshiper of the flame dragon? Like I go to flame dragon temple.
I would say that there's probably some people who, a lot of people who probably don't agree with what we believe in.
And among your people. Not just like other species, other folk.
I would say for the most part, most of the salamanders do worship the flame dragon, but there are some that don't.
Got it. Cool. All right. Good. Okay. Cool. Kira, do you want to tell us about your character?
Yes.
Now is the opportunity to tell us how beautiful your character's eyes are.
I've been waiting for
now is your time.
She was very concerned about this. She's like, there's no place for my eyes on the character sheet.
The eyes are windows to the soul, right? So I'm playing Bastion, who is a Warforged.
Ooh.
Yes. Neil's just shaking his head.
Neil's been shaking his head this whole time, so I'm assuming his character just is not gonna like our group. Or he will become one of us.
Cool. That's awesome. I'm excited to see the conflict. So Bastion uses she, her pronouns, and has polished metal eyes, metal looking eyes, human clothes, scarred plating, it's like scars everywhere, and a bulky body.
Cool.
Yes.
Now, were you designed for a purpose? How did, because we're gonna talk a little bit about the Warforged in general. So are you, I guess, A, one of a kind, B like part of a larger species?
I'm actually curious. Is the Warforged a class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm.
And your race is also a Warforged.
Yes. My race is, I can choose special race because I'm a constructed being. So
Yeah.
I'm a metal man, basically, is my race.
Yeah.
So, yes. I'm kind of a robot.
Hopefully you're made out of something that doesn't burn easily.
Yeah. We'll see. That'll be an interesting challenge to stand in the flames.
Well, what's going to be really cool is when they make a movie out of this game of Dungeon World, you'll be the one that gets played by Scarlett Johansson.
No. No. Experting whitewashing in this game.
So, yeah, tell me more about. Are there more of you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. It's a good answer too.
Maybe there are, but I'm the only one like me that I've met.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's like just like Warforged in general. You're the only artificial person that you have ever met.
Yes. It's a lonely life being a Warforged.
So have people traditionally treated you like a person? I mean, you're shaped like one and you wear clothes and stuff and you talk and think. And if they haven't had any exposure to sentient machine, do they just assume you're a strange kind of person, or are you like treated like an object or a tool?
So in a crowd, I can pass as human, but if you spend more than 5 minutes with me, you begin to notice some differences, and that's when people usually ask.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's no like you're unusual enough that there's no generalized social like stigma around like being a created person.
Oh, I think there's social stigma for sure.
By contrast, then, are there other like are we in a world where like iron golems exist? Like would a person see like a constructed magical thing in their lifetime, or like I'm trying to get an idea of what people would think when they see you.
Yeah, I think they'd be a little freaked out by me. Like they might have seen me once or twice in the last war or something. So it's like a bad association.
Okay.
And maybe there's like some golems or something too. Like they've seen more enemies than friends that look like me.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're like a more refined version of like an 8 foot tall like killing machine or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But not necessarily everybody's gonna. I think you're predominantly gonna be like confusing to people rather than like straight up hostility right away.
Totes.
Okay.
And did you say your armor has like stars on it?
Scars, not stars.
Oh, scars. Okay.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's
Envision your character. Okay.
So where did that come from? The scarring.
probably during the war, like on my last mission, I failed, and so I barely got out alive, and that's why I have scars all over my plated body.
Cool. And do you have thoughts or ideas about what that war was about, or do you want to leave that? And I guess how long ago was it? Right? Like, have you been in stasis for a while, or was it just like 6 weeks ago?
Oh yeah, I mean we could do a Captain America thing. It was like World War II. It's probably a while ago, like maybe a couple generations.
You're fighting against an organization that worshipped a 9-headed serpent creature.
Oh God. That's too close to home. That's too soon.
Turned out, after all, you love the Hydra.
Oh. No.
Okay. All right. So that's do you want to go with the Captain America and have it be like in the past, or?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's fun.
Okay, cool. Maybe one of these goofs thawed you out.
Yeah, I'm almost as old as Steven's elf, who I forget his name.
Nice. His name is Bucky.
Bucky.
Yeah, right.
You may call me the Winter Gentleman.
I'm the one with the metal arm here, buddy.
Two of them, in fact.
Oh my
Awesome.
God.
Okay, well, we can figure all that stuff out in Bonds.
Sure.
Cool. All right, Neil, tell us about your character.
I am Langus Fulmator.
Oh,
and
no.
You all are a bunch of heathens, all right? You're all monsters. I am a human fighter from a family line that has fallen into... well, I'm the last of my family. I'm the last of my line.
Perfect.
We used to be a proud and noble house, but my last two fathers, or my father and his father before him, kind of drove our family into the ground.
Man, I was hoping that Langus had two dads, but that's okay. Your grandfather worked with you.
No. My father and his father before him drove our house into the ground, kind of willing to use our name to make some cash, placing themselves in positions to benefit themselves and ruin the name. And I've taken my ancestral sword that's been passed down through the generations along with me, and the maybe not ancestral armor, but some older armor that has seen better days. It's scale mail, but as pieces get damaged, rather than adding a piece that doesn't match, you takes a piece off the bottom to replace one further up. So the bottom of the armor is getting really ratty. In fact, if you want me to reduce it to AC +1, that's fine. So
you look pretty shabby.
Yeah, I mean, he really tries to keep up the appearance of a high noble.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So would your average peasant be able to recognize either your face, or do you have a shield with a family crest? Do people know the line of the Fulmator house?
Probably not here. Volmator with a V.
Okay.
Probably not in this part of the world. I think my house has fallen into such disrespect and such trouble that Langus is on his way out into the world to restore the honor to his house, or if not that, at least end the line with honor.
Right.
So
cool.
He's out to do the right thing and to kind of combat the evil in the world. And here he is hanging out with salamanders and robots and haughty elves. This is exactly the sort of group that he needs to bring into the fold to help right their wrongs in order to right his family's wrongs.
Cool. I'm going to make a note here. Self-righteous. Okay. Cool. All right. So your it sounds like your character is predominantly motivated by this. Do you have a pretty straightforward relationship with your sort of existing family? Or are you literally the last line of the line?
It's very straightforward. I'm literally the last of my line.
Okay. So there's no living family.
No. After my father started raising taxes again on the peasants that kind of revolted and overthrew the household, I managed to get out with sword and armor, not wanting anything to do with them, and kind of watched from a distance as my ancestral home burned to the ground with my family inside of it.
Perfect. Lots of fire metaphors going on here. Cool. All right. So I think I have what I need, and hopefully y'all do too. So if you haven't already, go ahead and take a minute to fill out your character's bonds with the names of the other characters, and when we're all done, we can read those off. And
are we filling out all of them?
I mean, you have slots for them, so you might as well. You can always put the same person's name in two. The idea here is, as a refresher, for each slot someone's name is in, you get a +1 when you want to aid or interfere with their rolls.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yes.
Steven, what's your character's name again?
What is my character's name? Dagolier.
Dagolier.
Yep.
That's great. And wait, Maggie, what was your full title?
Full title. You can just put Viconica Sligny. That's her name.
I want to know the whole title.
I put it in. You want the whole title?
Yeah, for real.
I
only got 2 of the Ashen Wind.
I'll put it in chat, so then you have it in there.
Okay.
On Roll20.
Cool.
Because I don't want to have to write it all out or say it all out.
Viconica Sligny of the Ashen Wind, worshipper of the Flame Dragon.
Yeah, the flame dragon has a name too, and you have to say the flame dragon, Solarius Pyrus, because if you don't, you're gonna be pissed.
Cool, awesome. Yep, totally slapping that in there. Fantastic. Okay. This is good.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So I'll give you a minute. So I've got some very, very loose ideas about the like world at large. Dungeon World works best when you are characters in an unfamiliar place, exploring or operating in a in a locale that you are not familiar with. It does quests well. It does the D&D thing. So we're gonna stick with that as the basic framework, but I've done basically no prep other than to read your character sheets and to kind of barf forth some fantasy apocalyptica in my brain and make some notes. So we'll be winging it Dungeon World style, which should be pretty fun, I think.
Cool.
So I'll be having my ask questions dial turned pretty far to the player side, which I think all of you should be fine with. If I know you, and I think that I do. Cool. So does everybody have their bonds more or less sorted out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, let's go around then. Stephen, Dagalier, the Elven Bard, tell us of your bonds.
Well, you see, this is not my first adventure with Bastion. No, I sang stories of Bastion long before I ever met her in person.
Excellent. Okay, Bastion, have you heard these songs that your elf friend is singing of you?
I have. They're adequate adventure songs.
Excellent. Okay, and are these songs predominantly like how do they impart information about Bastion?
I
Claire?
see.
Like between the two of you, like what is the story that gets told about you before you the reputation that precedes you?
Sure.
How do you tell the story?
Well, I'll let Bastion tell me how the world knows of her.
Sure. I think I'm terrifying. I'm a metal shadow in the night, because I have like this blade that gleams in the moon, and I don't know, claws that seem to go right through stone like dragon claws, and nothing can blind me. I'm like this weird night superhero.
Yeah, so maybe it's like the song that I sing the most about Bastion is some sort of like, it's almost like Jack the Knife, right?
Yeah.
Except it's Bastion.
Wait, what's the theme of Jack the Knife though? I can't remember.
It's about Jack the Ripper, basically.
Oh, so am I the villain of the story then?
Well, I don't think you're necessarily a villain, but it is kind of like
a cautionary tale.
Well, it's like,
yeah.
There's like this hype around you, like, oh, Bastion. Oh, like, hey, let me tell you the story about the time Bastion came to town. Yeah, like, 10 men dead, that sort of thing.
I like it. Cool.
Cool. All right. What else you got, Dagalier?
I am writing a ballad about the adventures of Viconica Sligny of the Ashen Wind, worshipper of the flame dragon Solaris Pyrus.
It's a good thing it's a ballad. It's going to be long as hell.
It is, indeed, yes. And Viconica Sligny of the Ashen Wind, worshipper of the flame dragon Solaris Pyrus, has entrusted me with a secret.
Really? Well... Yes. Your royal burningness. What is that? What is that secret? What is the secret you have imparted to your elf companion?
It's important for the ballad.
Ooh, that's on the spot. I guess
your legacy, my dear.
The secret that I've told him is that I have bore a child.
Oh,
dag. Dag, a little baby salamander. And is that...
Wait, excuse me, I pull out my notebook. Do your people, is it live birth? Do you nurse? Is it more of an egg kind of laying situation? Do you rear your young?
If you lay eggs, why is it that you've been animated with breasts? I don't understand. So yeah, is this child like alive somewhere?
Yes.
Why is it a secret that you had a baby?
It is a secret because it is the bastard child of a prince.
Oh. Flame bastards.
Oh.
Is it a human prince?
Maybe. I didn't tell you the details.
You haven't got that out of her yet? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very well.
All right. What else, Dagalier? What else?
There are only two more bombs.
We bore our children through eggs.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
Oh my god, it'd be fucked up if the baby's like half salamander, comes out of an egg. Man, that baby's gonna be messed up.
There are only 2 more bonds for the bard, and I think some of our members of chat know what they are. And so, without further ado, Langus is often the butt of my jokes.
Perfect.
And Langus does not trust me, and for good reason.
Right. And are those two things related, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because humans are generally a very silly race.
So this is a species-oriented. So are these just like how many humans does it take to screw in a light bulb kind of jokes?
Exactly, and generally they all focus on how short-lived they are.
Right.
Like how many humans does it take to oversee the birthing of a single silver tree? Why, only 300,000.
Elf humor. It's complicated.
Exactly. Who would understand?
How many humans does it take to change a horseshoe? Who cares? It'll die before it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Good. So Langus, how do you bear these jokes when they come around?
With honor and dignity, and without cracking a smile whatsoever. His jokes do not faze me, and they only show his true petty nature.
Excellent. Gravitas. Brilliant. I like it. Cool. All right. Well, let's hear your bonds. Viconica Sligny of the Ashen Wind, Worshipper of the Flame Dragon, Slayer's Pyrus.
I like how everyone's saying the whole thing.
Yeah, because it's fun to say.
Really fun.
I'm just gonna keep adding syllables to it as we go.
After everyone kind of came up with a character, I was like, this is so good. So Bastion has felt the hellish touch of fire. Now they know my strength.
So what was that shit about? Why did you feel the need to show your hellish fire touch to Bastion?
Bastion and I have also been in battle together before. And I kind of got a little carried away. Things caught on fire.
Right.
Bastion
So it was an
accidental.
accidental. It was an accidental burning then.
No.
Right.
I kind of lose myself when it comes to fire. Like, I just want more.
It does have a tendency to get out of control.
Yeah.
What do we say about the fire? I think it rises.
So you lit something on fire, and I was just like in the way, or like inside of it, or
We can say something was lit on fire for sure.
okay, all right.
Probably a lot of somethings.
So was this like a recent thing? Like Bastion, do you still bear the marks of this fire?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. My in addition to the other scars on my plating, they are now like blackened at the edges.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
All right. What other bonds have you, Viconica?
All right. I will teach Langus the true meaning of sacrifice.
Right. The man whose entire family has been extinguished down to this last dude. Yeah, but you don't get it yet.
And his half armor.
Yeah.
Sounds about right for like a crazy, interesting fire priestess. I'm going to show you something about suffering.
Yeah. I'll give you something to sacrifice about.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Okay. So what is the true meaning of Christmas, Viconica? Like, what do you hope that he'll learn?
To worship the flame dragon.
Ah, right. Okay. Cool. I like that. So the ultimate sacrifice is what? The sacrifice of his free will and to give himself up to the dragon? I like it. Cool. All right. What else?
My last one is I cast something into the fire for is it Daggler?
Yeah, Daggolier.
Daggolier. And still owe them their due.
So what was it, Daggler? What did you give to Viconica to sacrifice for you? Or what was taken from you by her, I guess?
Still owes me something, and
yeah.
Okay. I think it was like a book of like songs I wrote back when I was very young. Yeah.
Right. You couldn't throw your own journals in the fire. You'd have somebody else do it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Your angsty teenage poetry.
These were precious to me, right? Because I've spent my millennia of life like perfecting the practice of a songery. And
I'm really glad that even if you couldn't do it, that Viconica could delete your live journal for you.
Yes.
Sometimes it happens. Maybe it was like some kind of ritual, and in order for it to go through, we had to sacrifice something close to.
Cool.
Totally. I mean, I feel like that works with like me trying to write a song about you and knowing a secret about you. It's like there's a little bit of give and take. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Bastion. Those are all yours, right? Monica? Yeah. Okay. Bastion.
Fashion. So I put down that Viconica knows my creator.
Oh, interesting. So probably not directly, right? Unless Viconica, I mean, let's talk about how long do salamanders live, right? Like, is this a personal? You know them? Maybe they're immortal. We don't have to work out all the details, but it seems like there's some time stuff going on.
Yeah. So who's your creator then? I guess to start with.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe it could be like an older priestess from your fire cult, and she has like, maybe she lives a little bit longer. I don't know, something like that. Maybe she was your mentor, your grandmother. I don't know.
Ooh, I like the idea of her being my grandmother.
Yeah, cool.
Sweet. I like.
I grew up with Bastion, just hanging around,
Yeah. I'm imagining her with like doing like fire spells on me, like with instead of a screwdriver, like.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're warforged, and forging takes fire.
Literally forged.
Yeah.
Forged in the fire of the great dragon.
Forged in the fire from the flame dragon.
Yeah, I'm into it.
There you go. I like it.
Yes.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay.
So my next one.
Go for it.
I fought with Dagolier during the last war.
Yeah.
So I guess
Good times.
I'm like trying to imagine Dagolier fighting though. Like what?
That's what I was gonna ask about. Like, fought alongside.
Right.
Were you the one doing the fighting and Dagolier was watching, or how did that work?
No, listen, y'all. Dagolier throws down on the battlefield. He's got a dueling rapier, and he's like, "What?"
I throws down. He means he raps. He'd hit like rap battles.
Oh, it's rap battles on the battlefield.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so who was obviously there? I guess the question is like, there's some connection now where the salamander are responsible for some degree of creating of these magical entities. They fought alongside the elves. There seems to be some kind of like alliance there, but who's on the other side? Like, who are you fighting against in this war?
I don't know. Humans?
That's
water.
What'd you say?
I said the creators of water.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Wow,
Cool.
The creators of water. Maybe there was some sort of like elemental disruption where like the elementals of water started like rebelling against the world. Because obviously, like as an elf, I do actually require water to live, so I wouldn't necessarily want to like get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. So some kind of like water cult.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Water dwarves.
The drowners. Yeah, I'm into it.
Oh, whoa.
Okay. So wicked. Okay, the water thing ties into some stuff that I'll talk about in a second, but cool. Okay.
In the water wars.
Are those are those all of yours?
I have one more.
Go on. Okay, cool.
So Langus's emotions and feelings are strange to me. Langus, talk a little bit more about your emotions, please.
Langus feels that you are kind of a victim of the world because you're so different and treated as such a monster no matter where you go.
Oh.
He has this strange protective instinct to, like, there's this one-of-a-kind, really weird, kind of disturbing monster, but it should probably be kept alive and not destroyed because it's one of a kind. So that's probably a weird emotion for you.
Do you do that to everyone around you, or is it just me?
I think you've probably only seen it with you. It's
Okay.
probably happened with other people in the past.
Okay.
You've probably only seen it.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's super weird because it's my job to protect people. So that's like really confusing. I have like a does not compute type of thing with that.
Perfect.
Cool.
Excellent. Okay. Cool. So your bonds, Langus?
Langus's bonds. First off, I've sworn to protect Bastion. There you go. That's right into it.
Sworn to whom?
To myself.
Yeah, because there's nobody else to swear to.
It's either myself or Martha, the goddess that I worship.
Okay, cool. All right. So who is Martha goddess of? What is her domain?
Life and creation.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Langus often refers to her as the mother. And that's his jam.
Okay. What other bonds do you have?
Daggleir owes me their life, whether they admit it or not.
I do not 1 moment.
Thank you for preempting the question I always ask after that bond. Do you admit it? Okay, for what?
I think the way I met perhaps this whole group is through Daggleir when he was like being mugged in an alleyway, and I came in and like stepped in and prevented the mugging and prevented him from being robbed. And you know, he's always been, oh, whatever, I could have taken care of it myself. And I'm like, well, come on, you're 3 of them, and you were drunk, and you didn't have your weapon.
I've probably forgotten that already. I mean, like, by this point in my life, like a day is like a millisecond in my perception of time. So I'm just like, yeah, there was like a brief flash where like some guys were behind me in an alleyway. You know, it's unimportant now.
The sight gag of this, where in a comic would be like someone asking you a question, and the next panel is they're a skeleton in a chair, and you're answering the question.
Yeah, exactly. I remember 300 years later, I must tell that man the recipe for...
Yeah.
Or maybe it was you were just so drunk, you were like blackout drunk and you don't remember it.
Could entirely be possible. Someone told me the story and I was like, no, never.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
And there's like this
Totally.
random human sitting with you at the table now. He's like, I was there. It was me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe
Yeah.
he was the one that was mugging you. No.
Right. I mean, right. Best way to orchestrate saving someone's life is to endanger it first.
Yeah, I owe him my life because he did not kill me.
Excellent. Okay. What else? What else you got?
See, I worry about the ability of Verkonica Sligny?
Sligny.
Sligny, you got it. Yeah, you know, like those sligneous rocks. That's I assume where that came from.
I think it's like slag and ignition together.
Totally.
Oh, nice.
Love it.
Slagnition is my favorite R. Kelly song. So okay, so you worry about her ability to survive.
Yeah, her skin is so like soft and like absorbent. It's weird. I think the harsh environment of a dungeon might. I mean, maybe it would be great for her. Maybe she'd thrive in a moist dungeon, or maybe that sort of thing would like, you know, if it's a mine and there's a lot of like copper around. And there's some like arsenic alloys in there. I don't know.
Are you implying that she is currently like one adjective, and you need to make her into like another adjective, much as yourself?
Well,
It's one of your strange jokes, Elf.
Is she soft, and you need to make her hard like you?
so
No,
yes,
no.
continue with your bonds.
Bastion is soft, but I will make them hard like me.
Whoa.
No sense.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, I mean, obviously not on the outside, but what about Bastion is soft?
Well,
to you?
clearly Bastion hides her true form when in public. Otherwise, she'd be noticed at every twist and turn. And the fact that she's hiding who she really is a sign of emotional weakness. And here I am trying to like bring it out in her.
Right. Yeah, you just want to encourage her to be the mindless
who you
killing
are.
machine she was born to be.
I mean, you don't have to be a killing machine, but, you know.
Listen,
it
just
is-
embrace your heritage. You were crafted.
It's shameful to
Destroy-
hide who you are.
Destroy all humans.
It's easy for you to say that, human.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it sounds like there might be some shame in being a human too, because our only example of one is like at the end of his lineal rope, and the only other humans we've heard about are part of a strange water cult that lost a war. So,
True.
yeah, humans maybe also not so good to be just now.
Oh wow, yeah.
Cool. Okay, is that all your bonds there? I guess?
That is it.
Okay, perfect. So, normally this would be the part where we like, you know, take a short break or whatever, but not today. Not today. We press on. So I'm thinking, as you know, GM and perpetrator of the overall situation, you know, a lot of fantasy is like, you know, something really bad happened in the past, and like it was a golden age, and everything was great, and now we're like trying to rediscover it or whatever, dig through the garbage. But I kind of feel like maybe the world is like dead already. Like it just, something happened, and maybe we can't point to like a single cataclysmic event, right? It's not about, you know, a great darkness was unleashed on the land and like a plague of orcs or whatever. Like it just kind of, no one really noticed it as it was happening, but everyone kind of agrees now, like, yeah, we're past the point of no return. Like things are ruined. The world is dead, and we just have to make do with what is left to us.
It's a dying Earth.
And we can't point to a single event as being the cause of this. There have been, in the period of the realization, right, when people are starting to figure out, like, oh, hold on, like, we have gone too far. The world is ruined by all of these like small things that we've done. We can't go back. And people reacted with strange things like starting water cults, and like there were several small wars, but they were the flailings of the helpless, right? Like it wasn't about saving the world. It was about, you know, trying to deal with this situation of being in a post-apocalypse with no real cause. I think that most of the kind of large swaths of civilization have died away from a lack of food, of potable water. You know, the crops are dying. There are pestilences. There's disease. These things are happening, and there isn't anything that anyone can do, because I think for the most part, like the gods have just fucked off if they were ever around in the first place, right? Like, you know, we don't have any clerics in the party. We have religious people, but we don't have anyone that's like divinely empowered. And so maybe the gods were like, you know what, this little petri dish is ruined. Let's throw it in the trash and go over to the other one. And
the gods.
Yeah. So that's sort of some questions that I have here, like, why what is it about the flame dragon that like, why hasn't it left? Is it not a real god? Is it an entity that you can see in the world? Is it just like a big ass dragon, or does it have some reason to stick around this husk?
Or is it a metaphorical thing?
Yeah, right.
I think it has reason to stick around. I think it's probably a cause of some of the destruction to some extent. Like, we don't see it as destruction, but I guess to maybe other people and other societies, they see it as destruction. Because you have to remember that us as salamanders, we can live through fire. So like, to me, like, being surrounded by fire is home. Like that's where I want to be. I would prefer that. So it's just a different world that we prefer over like what other people can survive off of. It's just different.
Ooh. Are the salamanders like a burgeoning race that's taking over?
Maybe.
I like that idea.
It's the old world of elves and dwarves and halflings and whatever and humans is like being burnt alive, and now it's like the reign of the salamanders are rising or something.
That sounds amazing.
I definitely envision, like a lot of like ash and fire, and like the world is just kind of drying up, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's why I like the idea of like the water cult. Maybe one of the last gods to kind of disappear was one of these like elemental powers, right? And he was like, yeah, well, water, and like we need water to live, humans, so gather around this like sacred thing. But in doing so, propagate a bunch of violence that precipitated a war.
Oh man, of course. And the reason the elves were joining in this battle is because they've just become like super decadent big game hunters. And they were just like, well, there's only one great thing to hunt left in the world, and it's the water elemental, so let's go.
They're right. Yeah. Good work, aristocracy. You've ruined the earth.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the total number of elves compared to the total population of the earth is around, let's say, 1% or so. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So they're trying to, I guess. So is that a thing? Like, are the elves responding to the like dying of the world, not with the kind of Tolkien-esque grief, but with this like, let's have one last party, Nero with the fiddle at Rome thing?
I don't think it's about partying, but it's like, I mean, I feel like even though they live a really long time, they're still really short-sighted. And so like, it's the tragedy of the commons. And now it's like everybody in elven society has like collapsed under the weight of the tragedy of the commons. And they're like, well, the world is fucked. So like, we might as well, either like isolate ourselves in our own little isolated clusters, or B, like go out and just be ridiculous, like roaming across this world that we used to own, but now we haven't in forever.
Yeah. I like that. That kind of like it's the end of the world. It's past the end of the world. You know, it's the closing time was at 2 and it's like 5 a.m. now.
Also, like maybe the elves are like the epitome of the world's 1%. So like they live in these like super pristine like oases of gorgeous like clear blue water and whatever, and they're like everything is wonderful, and they're just ignoring that the entire world is turning to ash on them.
Right.
Well, maybe they like, because they can summon water to some extent. Some of them can, right?
Sure.
So maybe for them, it's like it's a never-ending resource.
Yeah, or like we're fine, we've got ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only care about their, you know.
Right. Highly protected elven enclaves. They probably employ salamander-built war machines to guard their. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
There's like some kind of weird economic thing going on with like selling Warforged machines and stuff.
Yeah.
Constructs.
I don't have citizens' rights.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Okay. So as a group, you know, the world has sort of been left without custodians, right? Like there's a lot of these old orders that have protected ancient places. A lot of the sort of God-empowered guardians of tombs have just simply shut down and fallen apart, leaving you know, vast swaths of land just kind of like up for the taking, right? Tombs left unguarded. And so, you know, the four of you, through your, you know, your shared time as sort of scavengers of the wasteland, you find yourself at a place known only, its actual like original name is like long lost to time. But after a long and arduous journey, you find yourself at a place called Sun's Last Fortress. And I guess my question for you is, what are you doing in this place? Why have you made this journey? What is it that lies in Sun's Last Fortress that you desire?
It sounds like the sort of place that we'd be coming to because of either Viconica or Bastion, since they're more connected to like the fire cult, right?
Yeah. Maybe the water has risen up one last time, and we have to try and find some secret from the past to fight them down for good.
Okay, so it's less about like seeking something to like bring back into the world, and more like to finish the job.
Well, it sounds like me and Viconica would really like it if this world was just full of flame and heat.
So I guess so here's a question, Viconica, basic biology question: do salamanders need water to live?
So I guess salamanders, in my mind, with the clan that we have created, don't. We survive off of like fire.
Yeah. So if the whole world dries up, that's just like more room to build cities and factories and shit. Yeah, temples to the fire dragon. Okay.
Like my idea of rest is I'll sit in the campfire.
Yeah.
It's very different than what other people would envision. But I kind of like the idea of us going to Sun's. It's Sun's Last Fortress. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
For maybe we need. I'm particularly looking for some kind of old artifact or relic that we can sacrifice to the flame god in order to bring us some kind of advantage in the war against the water elements.
Yeah, I mean, I think the war is like over, right? Like you've won, but now this is maybe more the like pillaging of the coffers of the water cult, right? Like you're going to a place that they once held as their last, maybe it's like their last fortress, and they've like fallen back to here, or maybe you've heard rumors of some like last remnant, and you're going to stub it out. So Langus, what brings you on this journey then?
I think Langus has just been out trying to die with dignity, and in that process, he's run across these people, saved this elf's life, and figured, well, here's a place where some good could be done in the world.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So it's less like, I mean, I guess maybe you've heard rumors that you know, I imagine this place as being very, like, even when the world was still verdant, very like out of the way. It's kind of like the Greenland seed bank or whatever, you know, that like fortress where they keep all the like, you know, secret, we're going to restart the world when everything goes bad stuff. I feel like this is kind of that for the water cult. Like maybe there's like rumors of like a magic urn from which the ocean could pour in times of great need. So
maybe there's been a drought in my area, and I'm hoping to find some sort of replenishable source of water, maybe like a fountain that just produces water out of nothing that I can bring home to restore the honor of my family.
Cool. I like it. So Dagalier, what do you expect will be waiting to protect this place when you arrive, right? Like what strange creature have you heard occupies Sun's Last Fortress?
I figure like maybe there's like a Kirin or something like that. Some sort of like ancient water dragon or something like that has, you know, retreated back to this hideout. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So some kind of like strange, like ancient creature, probably like weakened, but maybe on par generally with like the flame dragon in terms of power.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe it will be your fountain of water.
Yeah. Totally. Okay.
Maybe its head will be.
So on your way here, like you've just like finished passing through kind of the last land of trial, right? Like there's this area that surrounds the fortress called the Golden Dunes, and to pass through it, each of you had to leave something behind. Dagalier, what did you leave in the dunes?
You're talking about something that I brought with me.
I mean, yeah, or it could be a metaphor. I don't know. Get weird.
Oh God.
Weird. I like that.
Geez, I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, then I will turn it over to the group if anybody has a thing that they're ready.
I left my trusty horse and my even more trustly remaining butler, Reginald.
No, Reginald and Artax.
Reginald and the horse got left behind to go back to where it's a little bit safer. I couldn't have their blood on my hands.
Okay. So you entrusted your horse to your manservant Reginald and saw them set out across the shining dunes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, they definitely made it home for sure. Definitely like safe.
Good. I'm really thrilled about that.
They'll be waiting for you when you get back. Yeah.
I figured it out.
Okay.
Oops. I left behind, like, basically somehow crossing through these dunes, I lost my progenitorial drive. And it's like permanently gone. I will now never father children. And as a consequence of this, I have also left behind the entirety of my inhibitions.
Good.
And I'm now like
right, yeah, because you're not beholden to the next generation now, so you can just do whatever you want with yourself.
Yep. Now I am like less restrained than ever before, and more driven and more tally ho.
Excellent.
I like it.
I'm all about it. You get a +1 to your tally ho.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Do you have one, Maggie?
What?
Do you have one? Are you ready to go?
Yeah. I guess Viconica doesn't really bring much with her. She doesn't care for earthly items, but I guess she has some coin that she has on her, so she leaves that behind, and she parts way with everything that she has in her bags and stuff, and she's just like, fine, take it all. She doesn't need any of it.
Yeah. You shed your material belongings as one might, were one a reptile, shed their skin.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you come to the last fortress, pure in a way. I like that. Okay.
She's basically leg naked. It's all good.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, cool.
And I think it's a little bit uncomfortable. No, I'm just kidding.
Bastion, what did you leave in the Golden Dunes?
Bastion is going to leave behind her pointer finger, like on her right hand.
Yeah.
She just like wrenches it off and leaves it with the rest of the stuff. And because that was the finger that failed her in her last mission, and this one she's not going to fail.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So the fortress itself was once sat in a like a crater lake, basically. So you've come out of these dunes and into these sort of wind-blown mountains. And when we see you kind of on screen for the first time, you're trudging through like knee-deep what look like snowbanks, like grayish snowbanks, but it's not cold, right? Your breath isn't fogging in the air. It's ash, right? There's just these like piles of ash everywhere, and so you're like pushing your way through them, climbing up towards.
Vikanika is like swimming
crater
through that
lake.
shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
diving in it. Love
Again,
that.
ash
Ducktail
angels.
style, like all about it.
Cool. And when you reach the lip of the former lake, you look down into the crater, and you can see emerging from its center is what looks like a tower now. You would have only been able to see the top of the tower above the water line, and you can see maybe the marks on the volcanic rock where the water would have filled at one point. So there's this sort of striated tower, and extending from, say, maybe like a mile down into the crater, there's a long stone bridge that leads to the front of this cylindrical tower that emerges up. And there are, at this distance, you can see some kind of like winged creatures that have taken roost on the partly collapsed roof of the fortress. You can see their wings kind of flapping against the sinking sun. So you know that your destination lies before you, but that there are you're not alone here. It's not maybe as abandoned as it could be. What do you do? A hot wind blows.
Have we reached this place then?
Yeah, you're on the edge of the lip. There's, like I said, like about a mile of like kind of switchback pathway that leads down to this ancient stone bridge, leads out to the crater and the tower.
Well, Adam, as an elf, I know one fact from the history of this location.
All right.
And I would like you to tell me what it is.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah, do you want to read the wording of that move?
Yeah. When you enter an important location, your call. This one is.
Yes.
You can ask the GM for one fact from the history of that location.
Okay. All right. So I think that this place it's old even by Elven standards. It's called Sun's Last Fortress because it's so far to the west that it's like the last thing that sees the sun before it sinks below the horizon. Beyond it to the east, there's just a vast empty desert. And when this place was built, it sat on the edge of the ocean. But that was, like I said, like long ago, even by the standards of the Elder.
Back when there was water in the world, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even before that, right? Like this place, no one has any memory of who built it. It's that old. Yeah. So, what would you like to do?
I mutter under my breath in, old elven gentleman voice, the history of this place.
Dagalier, where should we go?
Well, I believe we should head straight for those winged creatures. Yes, they look like they roost in a spot, so then I start walking in that direction. Tally-ho, up the cliff, let's go.
Straight for them, right. And Bastion starts ignoring the switchback and going straight through.
Just like climbing straight down. Okay.
Yeah.
Vikanika and Langus, do you follow these two as they head down?
I fully trust that Dagalier is taking us to. I mean, he's the most knowledgeable of us of the area, so we'd follow him.
All right.
I take a moment to watch them walk away and look back at the desert as if there's any way to get back to where I came from first.
I don't even look back but I say, is it Langus, right?
Langus.
I'm saying your guys' names right. Langus, there's no turning back. And I just keep going.
Langus,
With a long, heavy sigh, he slowly trudges on after the crazy-ass elf.
Langus, do you need a lift?
No, thank you.
I'm like, I'll take one. And I just like hop on.
Cool. so you hop onto my back?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I forget, do you have salamander legs again, or you're just like salamander?
Yeah, I mean, well, I have like, think about me as if kind of like a lizard man in like other
Cool.
like Dungeons and Dragons style. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
But a little different in the sense because I'm pretty small too. I'm not a very big salamander.
Awesome. She grips her legs so you won't fall and carries you down the hill.
And as we're walking along, Adam, if I see anything that like I think I could craft something out of, let me know. Because I think right now we just see ash, right? And
yeah, I mean the sort of ash, the ashy like snow and stuff that had collected around the mountain. Once you're up this high, the wind kind of blows it all over the crater. So like maybe it's like a howling wind until you get over that lip, and then it's quite quiet. There might be like mineral deposits and stuff in the walls of the crater, but you'd have to like mine those out. The bridge itself is a huge gray span, wide enough probably for like two sizable wagons to pass each other, going in either direction. And it's about, I don't know, about like 2 miles long. Like it extends quite a ways. So you can see off in the distance, these creatures roosting on top of the huge sort of cylinder. Mm-hmm. So you just want to just make your way across the bridge?
I want to stop and inspect this stonework before I go. Okay,
sure. So what does that look like? Do you just describe what your character is doing?
So it's a bridge, and in my mind, I'm picturing like a post on either side of the bridge, and then these like long stones going out from there. But on either side of the entryway, there's these tall pillars, almost like I'm blanking on the word right now.
Monoliths or
almost like totem poles that might have engravings on them, and I want to stop and see what's on this thing. Are there any markings? Are there any signs? Any warnings? Anything like that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't you discern realities for me?
You're going to have to remind me how to do that.
Yeah. Sure. So it's a wisdom roll. You're going to roll plus your wisdom. You should be able to, on your character sheet, just click the die there.
Boom. Natural. Max 8.
So you got an 8. So you can ask me one question from the discern realities list, and if you act on the answer, you'll get a +1. I put all the basic moves in the Roll20 account under handouts. If you want to take a look at them there.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah. So I can discern one thing.
Yeah, you can ask me one question.
Are there any warnings?
Yeah. So, what you should be looking out for when like examining this information, it looks like the place, there's a lot of kind of general, very worn down imagery, very like primitive kind of artistry, indicating that this is a sacred place and that some kind of like purification is required before entering. A lot of sort of symbology of like sacred washing and what have you. So be wary of just barging in without the correct preparations.
I stand up and take a look directly at, I'm going to get your name right, Dagalier. Kind of squint my eyes a little bit, move, I don't think I have a helm, but make it clear that I'm making eye contact with you and say, this is a sacred space. You would be wise to respect it.
Yes, of course, Langus. Now, tell me, what's over on the other side of the bridge?
We will have to find out.
We will. Tally-ho! I gesture.
Right.
Hold on a minute, Daglier. We haven't figured out what those are yet. She points up at the flying things.
Yeah, and I think by taking note of them, you can see that they've kind of like they've noticed you, and they're kind of not flying towards you, but they're flying around the tower. Whereas most of them are clinging to it before, they're now kind of like dark specks in the sky, kind of moving around.
Yeah.
Are they dragon-like, or would any of us have seen those type of dragons before, or those creatures before? Now that we're a little closer.
Well, now, one of us should probably know something or other about them, but I'll let Adam tell a little more about it.
Yeah. So that's a thing, right? Vikanika, you can scour your memory to see if you recognize the silhouettes of these little beasts against the sky.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay. Yeah. So roll plus intelligence, and you're going to be spouting lore.
So that's 2d6, right? Plus
Yeah.
my...
You can just click it on your sheet. There's a little button next to your intelligence.
And my intelligence is no modifiers. So.
Okay, cool. All right. So so I'll tell you something interesting, if not necessarily useful. So from this distance, it's hard to tell much else other than that they are they're quite large, right? Right now they're like yay big in the vast distance, but you do some quick calculation, and yeah, these things are like half of a human size, and there's many of them. You don't necessarily recognize much else, except that you feel they might be dangerous if you were to raise their ire.
Okay. So I just feel that they'd be dangerous. I don't necessarily know what they are.
No. There's something like maybe like you kind of recognize something about them but can't recall ever having seen them before necessarily, but there is something that you know that they're like, it's like seeing a unfamiliar plant and being like, yeah, I probably shouldn't eat that. Like something about that is telling me stay away from that thing.
So my response then to Sebastian is I feel that we should maybe not disrupt them.
Okay.
And then I kind of lay my head back onto my arm.
Great. So what should we do now?
We should cross the bridge.
I turn to Bastion. We are gone from civilization. You can remove your shroud that hides your presence here.
I'm comfortable in my shroud, she says, pulling it a little tighter.
Yeah.
These beasts here know you for only what they will see from here on out. You need not hide yourself.
Yes, my good man.
Vikanika raises her...
Metal. I start walking across the bridge.
Vikanika raises her head and kind of looks at Langus with a scowling look, like, that's it. She just gives you a look like, don't tell her what to do.
Nice.
Why do you call them beasts without truly knowing what they are? We've only seen those three up there. Maybe there's humans inside.
I respond before he can, and I'm like, Langus sees us all as beasts. If we are not like him, we are beasts in his mind.
It's true, he does. I hope someday he'll learn.
Like we're just talking about you, like you're not there. Oh.
There are beasts and there are monsters. I have yet to decide which you are.
I kind of give a little cackle after that and go back to resting and looking at the elf walking ahead of us.
Pum, 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 pum. She rode on the back of the
Yeah, we'll walk towards
So you're making your way across the bridge, and I think by the time you reach the edge of the tower, the place where the bridge meets the doors, you can see that there are these huge. They're metal doors, but they've long since lost their polish. Right, they've gone to rust. And yeah, big heavy doors set in the front of the tower. You can see them at a distance. You can also see that the nest of these creatures up in the sort of broken roof of the tower. What you first thought might be like scavenged like sticks or whatever, they're actually like bones. So their nest is like woven together of yeah, like human and other like animal bones, piles of skulls and leg bones and what have you.
We must get closer. I must draw these in my notebook.
Yeah, so you can see this as you approach, but you can also see that the creatures are getting more irritated as you arrive, and I think you can see like one or two of them land on the bridge, you know, far enough away that they're just kind of like they land to kind of move around. They look. They're dragon-esque in their shape, right? You know, four limbs. They're quadrupedal. They have wings, long sort of sinewy necks. But they all look like they're in either some kind of state of transformation or they're like dying of some illness, because for the most part their scales have been like rubbed off and they have this like soft kind of like grayish pink like rubbery hide underneath.
Yeah.
Many of them are missing teeth. They all seem to be kind of emaciated and dark. So they're all this kind of like rust colored, this like dark red.
So now that we're close enough to be looking at them, I kind of turn around. I'm looking at their nests. I'm looking at them, and I would like to do the bard thing.
Yeah, yeah.
My bestiary of creatures unusual.
Yeah, do it.
So yeah, when I first encounter an important creature, location, or item covered by your bardic lore, I can ask the GM any one question about it. The GM will answer truthfully. The GM will then ask you what tale, song, or legend you heard that information.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What would you like to know?
God, how can we pacify them peaceably?
Okay, so Viconica,
how can they be pacified peaceably?
Sure, yeah. Viconica, I'm gonna get you to answer this from me because these things are.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to use one of my abilities as well.
Yeah, what do you want to use?
Point.
Yeah, we can chain these things together.
Okay. I wanted to gaze intensely into their eyes and ask them what fuels the flames of their desire.
Nice. Okay, so you'll have to get a little closer for that first. Okay. So, so I guess why, like you recognize these pathetic creatures. They are pretty like universally reviled as like the kind of like failed offspring of your great dragon overlord, right? These are the sort of stillborn that didn't quite make it to dragonhood. So what is it like? How could you subjugate them? Subjugation is the way to like pacify them. What is it that you would need to do to make that happen?
I don't know.
Well, maybe the answer is in your move, right? Like you're already sort of like you recognize these things. You're instinctively going to like learn what it is that fuels them. So maybe that's it. Maybe once you know their like desire, you can use it against them. Maybe that's it.
I think that would work for me.
All right. Yeah, but getting there and making eye contact is going to be the tricky part. More of them have come to like sort of weakly like start to circle around you as you approach. They're definitely getting curious. And the ones that are on the bridge, so there's 3 of them there. They're starting to kind of like slink towards you, hissing. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I look up to the side of me and I said, Langus, it seems as though Bastion is slowly becoming endangered. What are you going to do about this?
Langus gives a shaking head, draws his sword, shield, and starts to edge towards them just carefully.
Vic gets off Bastion's back and grabs, kind of like puts her hand on, or her claw on Langus's sword and kind of pushes it down and is like, no need for that. And then I kind of just like walk forward, just as if I have no fear, and walk closer to them.
Okay.
I keep my sword out of its sheath.
Okay, so Lingus, you stay back. You let Viconica just slither her way up there.
You know, I'm a little worried that she can't handle her dungeons, but you got to give her a shot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Viconica, you are. There is a danger, and you are acting in defiance thereof. It sounds to me like you are using your force of will to do this. So either wisdom or charisma, whichever you prefer. Whether it's an internal will or you're projecting it.
I would do. You said wisdom. I'll do.
Yeah, because wisdom would mean that you're like swallowing any fear you might have and turning inward for strength. Mm-hmm. And charisma is like you project the force of your will and be like, stay back, dragon things. I'm Viconica, motherfucker, back off. Which of those two is that? Is it like an outside kind of thing, or is you using your inside voice?
It's more inside, I would say.
Cool. So like more a smoldering and less a conflagration. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. You can have the thing you want. You got an 8, right? But there's going to be a price. So to prove to these things that you're tough, you have to not flinch when they inevitably attack you, which they will do. But if you don't respond and if you don't run, then they'll realize that they can't. They'll potentially realize they can't beat you. So you see them and you have this choice being presented to you, right? Like you can see them, they come closer to you and they bare their broken fangs. And I think these things, right, like they never reached the power of the fire dragon. So they can't breathe fire, but they have some other like natural attack that they use. That's like some lesser version of that. What is it? What do they do? What's their like pale imitation of the great dragon?
I guess they just kind of do more like single target, like a beam, rather than like being able to kind of project like a large projectile.
Right. Yeah. So like a sort of flash of fire rather than like a. Okay.
And it's more like close range. They have to, because they're much smaller. They're not be able to like expand as far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So less as the sort of grand motion of attack and more just like trying to like frighten and harm you. These three, they come sort of like come towards you, maybe like rear up a little bit and fan their scabrous wings. And you come under the attack of their breath. So what do you do when they like rear up and you can see them breathe? They've got these like sort of sacs under their neck that fill with air.
Does one of them look like it's kind of in charge of the others or anything of that sort?
It's not really. Like to you, I think they all look kind of pathetic, and so it's hard to tell. They're like rabid dogs, basically.
Okay. I look at each of them directly in the eyes, like kind of acknowledge, making sure they know that I've acknowledged each of them. And I say to them, "We wish to pass and mean no harm."
Okay. All right. So they use their like testing flames on you. So Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
So you don't take, it's not all of those. We just roll 3 and keep the best one.
I don't take any damage to fire.
Yeah. So I guess that's the thing. Like it's not just flame, right? It's like there's force and there's like ash and like ember to it. So take half that damage. Take 5 just from the like the brunt of the attack. So when that happens, you just want to like talk through it. And what's everybody else doing when you see like you're not that far away? You see Viconica get attacked by these things. There's sudden like loud the like bursting sounds and then like fire. It's like fireworks with no color.
I pull out my father's mandolin and I tune it just a little bit, and then I stare deeply at Viconica's back and I start strumming.
Okay. All right. Bastion, what do you do?
Bastion tries to stop Langus from doing anything because Viconica told him not to.
Okay, Langus, what are you doing?
He sees the world in black and white, right and wrong, and clearly these things are trying to do something wrong, so he's going to go stop them.
All right. Okay. So I guess then, Langus, you are attempting to do something despite the danger of Bastion holding you back. The danger being you don't get what you want. Why don't you defy danger with your strength, right? Because you're just like pushing Bastion aside.
Pushing Bastion aside. I have to get in there.
Okay, and so you can roll, and Bastion, you can decide after Langus rolls if you want to actively interfere or if you just let yourself get pushed aside, depending on what result he gets.
Sure.
10.
Okay, so if you succeed, you can bring him down to 9. So at least there would be some cost to him pushing past you.
Oh, do I have to roll 2?
Yeah, if you choose to, right? So he's kind of like strong-arming his way past you, and then you get the choice to just get shoved out of the way, or you can interfere with this roll and, dig your claws in, so to speak.
Oh yeah, I'll interfere.
Okay, all right. So just roll.
The party has already turned on each other.
So is that strength?
So this is with your bonds with Langus. So how many you have?
I haven't. That's a total of 9.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the two of you then effectively both get a medium result. There's a moment here, Langus, where you are presented with a choice, right? So Bastion, what is the choice? How do you, when you realize like he's just going to shove you out of the way, how do you double down? How do you escalate? I
just hold onto him tighter, basically. Like I'm grabbing his arm. So he could wrench free, probably. I just want him to try harder again.
Yeah. Okay. So Langus, to do this, you could just pull free, but Bastion is kind of spiky, so you would take some damage in pulling your arm free. Or you can be like, all right, claws, we'll stick around.
I'll stick around, and instead I'll turn to Bastion and say, "Let go of me! They're in danger."
She's fine. She's not in danger. How you perceive danger is very different from how Vikanika perceives danger.
Exactly. She's in danger.
Right, yeah. I like that. Yeah, you're proving my point. Like, exactly. I see danger and she doesn't.
No, she doesn't need you to protect her.
So Vikanika, you withstand the blast, right, of these creatures, and now they see that you're not running, which gives you an opportunity to try to do something. What is it that you want to do?
When they hit me with the fires, it actually she seems like she gains energy from that, and she actually has a grin, so you have her long snout, actually you see maybe a little bit of some of her teeth coming through, and she looks deeply into one of their eyes and asks them, "What fuels the flames of your desires?"
Sweet. All right, so you have a move for that?
Yes.
Cool. Do you have to roll anything?
When you gaze intensely into someone's eyes, you may ask their player what fuels the flames of your desire. They'll answer with the truth, even if the character does not know or would otherwise keep this hidden.
Cool. Okay. So what drives these pathetic creatures is the same urge that drives the flame dragon, but on a much weaker scale. So where your mighty overlord seeks to consume all to power itself, these things want to just eat things so that they can go into their sort of state of hibernation and hopefully reincarnate. But slim pickings out here, right? They fight each other over bones. So what they want is to feed.
Okay.
Both literally and metaphorically. They want to consume.
All right. So I get that answer. I mean, do they tell me this, or is it more of you
just know by looking at your eyes. Yeah.
All right. I look at each of them again in the eyes so that they know that I know that they're all there, and I say, "We can get you what you want. But time."
Yeah, I think they look at Daggalier, who's standing the closest to you, and lick their shattered teeth hungrily.
Okay, I see that, and I go,
Another one has landed like behind Dagalier, like they're starting to kind of like get around him, and they're like, "Yes, feed us your elf."
I kind of turn to look at Dagalier, and I like draw my hand out like this, and I tell him, I kind of motion him to come to me, and he's like stroking his.
I'm still playing a song in her.
Yeah,
I need to like do my song.
Yeah. Okay. So
I
that's
motion
perfect.
you to come.
We cut over, right? We get the cut over to you, and you were playing a song. Okay. What do you want to?
Totally.
Good. Make that roll.
Okay, let's see. What is it? It's plus charisma. Okay. Bloop. So the song is
Oh dear.
fuel is pumping engines, burning hard, loose, and clean. And you burn, churning your direction. Quench your thirst with gasoline.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Stephen.
It wasn't good. That's what I was singing as I slowly marched forwards, ignorant of the dragon thing landing behind me.
Yeah. So I think that your song it definitely is inspiring, but is inspiring of the creature. So mark your experience.
Yay!
And I think when you look to Dagalier, you see this one of these broken drakes leap on him from behind. Right, it's been crouching behind him, and it leaps onto his back and sinks its broken teeth into his shoulder. So Dagalier, you're going to take some damage. Why don't you roll a d8 and add 2 for me?
Rat butts.
Yes, indeed.
9.
Okay, so minus your armor, of course.
My armor reduces that, right? So I take 8 damage.
Yeah. So there's a gush of hot elven blood that spills onto the dry stone, and there's this. You feel like a sudden weight, and then a shock of heat as the thing's jaws clamp down on you, Dagalier.
Yeah.
Langus and Bastion, you both see this. What do the two of you do? You're having this like discussion about danger.
I guess we both look over at Dagalier because we've been arguing, and Bastion shrugs and says, "Well, Dagalier might need some help."
I give her a smirk and run forth with my sword.
Cool.
Excellent.
I'll run with you.
Sissy little elves always needing help.
Okay, so the two of you, you want to rush and both of you like attack this thing?
Yes.
So the
I would
plan,
like to interpose my shield in front of Dagalier so that he is not being attacked by this thing anymore.
Excellent.
Hack
Okay.
and slash.
Yeah. Well, so defending you, it sounds like you're defending Dagalier, right? Like if you want to get between him and the thing, like pull him off, pull the thing off of him, that kind of thing. That's definitely you defending. You're sort of defense of him. So roll plus your Constitution.
Fantastic.
Make a Constitution roll, and then you'll get some points. Nice, an excellent defense. So you are now able, as long as you're acting in his defense, you can half any damage or effect that he takes. You can open the attacker up to an ally, giving them +1 forward to that against that attacker. So you get there first, maybe, and you can open up the creature to an attack from Bastion, or at any point you can deal basically one damage for free without having to roll because you're first level. So you have 3 hold. You can spend them at any time as long as you're defending.
Okay, and each one of those hold does one of those.
Each one of those things you spend 1, and you can spend them on the same thing multiple times.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Bastion, you are right behind Langus in this charge. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna leap onto the back of the creature, and an arm blade will come outside of or come from inside of my forearm and like shink, I don't know, extend somehow in a ridiculous, amazing way, and I'll try and slice the creature's throat.
So I have a question, Bastion. Is this like some sort of internal mechanism that slides out a blade, or are you like literally reshaping your armor?
Oh. I mean, it was written as the first one, but I really love the second one because that's amazing. So the second one is
Awesome.
like reshaping my armor, like in the fire, fire priestess way.
Cool. Yeah. So what does that look like? Like, are there like runes of transformation built into your armor, or is it more a mechanical process?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little Full Metal Alchemist, probably, right? Like, there's definitely
Totally.
runes and like something. My arm glows with like the orange runes that you can't normally see, and then you know, it's suddenly my hand is a blade.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Okay, so you're gonna hack and slash, and
Yes.
Langus, if you want to spend one of your hold, you can do that to
I would love to.
give a +1. Okay, cool.
Cool. I don't know if I need it. I get a 10.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. Sorry, was that your roll there?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So you get where are your pluses coming from? You have a strength.
I have a strength of 2. And then do I add anything else in? Like, do I have the damage of the blade?
No, not yet. So this is just
Okay.
the initial, like, how does the fight go? So this is you rushing into tangle with the thing.
Yeah.
So you so you get an 8. Which even with a +1 would only bring up to 9. So it's
You're right.
middle
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6. I can do math.
It's okay. You're in company of non-math doer. So I think that you run at the thing and throw yourself at it, and the two of you and the creature, sort of tumble to the stone, and it's shrieking, this hellish sound, flapping its wings desperately and clawing at you, and the two of you are sort of like tumbling and fighting.
Yes.
So on a 7 to 9 for hack and slash, you deal your damage to the creature, and it gets to make an attack against you.
Cool.
So you go ahead and roll your damage, and that should be on your sheet. You can just click the what damage does a Warforged do?
I don't know. D10.
D10. Okay.
Cool.
And then what do I roll?
There you go. So on your character sheet, top left corner, there's a little damage. Just click the D20 next to that, and it'll do all the adding things up for you. Holy shit! You just wrecked the thing.
Wait, did I?
Yeah.
My god.
You rolled you rolled twice. You only need to roll
man.
once, but both of them were 10s. So
Yeah.
you're just showing off now.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I did.
So you murder the thing.
Yay.
But in doing so, I get to make an attack, and I'm not going to have it try to damage you. What I think happens is that as you're stabbing this thing, what is it? I guess we haven't seen Bastion fight before. What does it look like? Are you like calm and practiced, or are you just like, stabbing it panickedly? Like, what does that look like?
I'm precise and gruesome, so it's like
Nice.
too violent, for most fighters even. And I just don't know my own strength. But it's not very emotionful at all.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a very, like, you have a target assessment in mind, what you need to do to kill the thing, and you perform that behavior. But as you're doing so, like, the thing kind of like pulls at you at the edge of the bridge, and the two of you tumble off the side. It breaks up in midair because you've been stabbing it, and it dies, sort of turns to ash. And you manage to dig your sword arm thing into the side of the bridge. You fall, 2 or 3 meters, a big long gouge, and then you come to a jarring stop, hanging off the side of the bridge.
Cool.
So
my Psylocke impression.
Yeah, exactly. So what, Viconica, you turn around and you see all this happen in a sudden burst of action. What do you do?
I look at, because there's still 3 that are in front
Yeah,
of me.
there are 3 near you. Yeah.
I look at them once again and I'm like, I said we could do this the easy way, but it appears you do not want to. And I put my hand on my necklace, which is a dragon charm necklace, and I close my eyes and I summon a dragon, a fiery dragon, as my weapon.
Shit.
Okay, cool.
And
All right.
we'll see.
Yeah, see how that goes. So you call on the power of
So I
the
get
power of the dragon.
7 to 9. I choose 2 of these.
Okay.
And it's going to be +1 damage, and I'm going to remove the dangerous tag.
Excellent.
So
Yeah,
it
because
still
if
has
you
the fiery touch and it has 3 uses.
Excellent. Okay, so
I
you
just don't want it
and
to like explode and hit everybody else.
that's exactly what the dangerous tag means. So you have it under control, and it's more pure. So what does this dragon of fire look like?
It basically looks like a fire element, but it's in the shape of a dragon. So it has 2 wings and 4 legs, and when it moves, it has like, that when you look at flame or something hot, how it has that like little bit of wave and you can't really see around it. It's kind of like that.
Cool. Okay. All right. So you conjure that up, and they look at you like kind of warily, and you think they're probably going to like ignore you or not like fight you, but they're looking at Daegalier hungrily. Daegalier, what are you going to do? You just saw Bastion take a header off the bridge.
Yes.
And you're bleeding from being chomped upon.
Yes. Right? So where are these other creatures? Are they close to me?
They're a ways off. They're on the other side of your reptilian friend.
Right. Well, let me look at the basic moves. Really, it's hack and slash is really the biggest thing. Yes, no, I draw my dueling rapier and I run at one of them.
But no. I'm wounded. Stand back, then.
I'm not severely wounded, merely partially. So you're shouting that as you run?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So Langus, if you wanna keep those 2 points, you gotta run alongside, ready to defend this fool.
I will be his shield for the time being.
Excellent. All right.
Tally-ho!
So, Langus, you follow the headstrong elf as he throws himself into battle. Go ahead and hack and/or slash for me.
Who, me?
Oh yes.
Am I defying danger at all?
No. I mean, you're entering a melee that they are willing to enter as well. The danger, you're not defying it, you're meeting it head on.
Yes. All right. So because my rapier is precise, of course, I hack and slash with dexterity. I am accruing experience points.
Yep. Daegalier on track to level up right quick.
Yep. It is, God, these humans, they really are worthless, aren't they? So
with a sound that might, if you didn't know better, might sound like pleased noise. These three drakes happily leap on you. Their meal is coming to them. Viconica, they run quickly like around you. One of them I think like jumps over you, and they all kind of like descend onto your elf friend. So Steven, your character takes.
I'll be using my hold if he takes any damage.
Yeah, he'll definitely take some damage. So you're gonna.
I wish this was like D&D, where like because they passed me, I now get to attack them.
Unfortunately, not.
Okay. Danger.
So you would take 7 damage.
Yeah. So like all 3 of them are biting me. Yeah.
Yeah, they all like leap on you.
Yeah. Totally.
They're like greyhound sized, so they're not small, but they're light and kind of stretchy. So they leap on you and start to bite you and claw at you, hungrily trying to get past your sword, which doesn't find purchase anywhere. You're going to take 7 damage, unless Langus. Yeah. So Langus, what do you do? How do you leap to his aid after you?
I think I try and like just shove him out of the way, like just take the blow for him, sort of Secret Service style.
Okay, right. The slow motion dive to like knock him out of the way. Right. Cool. Yeah. So you end up with, instead of 3 on you, Langus has 1 on his shield, 1 kind of on the ground trying to get past him, and then 1 of them ended up being able to penetrate that defense.
Okay. Does that reduce the damage that I took?
Yes. Yeah. It halves the effect of the.
Nice. So instead of 7, we're down to what? 4 or 3?
So it's how much armor do you have? 1.
1.
Okay. So it goes down to 6. And then cut in half.
Okay, 3. So,
3. Yeah.
Oh God, wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I took 3 damage. Okay, cool. I'm not really doing too bad.
Okay.
So I see like Langus has like 2 of these things like weighing him down, and I look over at him. I say, Langus, stop faffing about. Get to it, man!
This is the second time. The second time, Dagalier.
I like how Bastion, you're just like hanging by one arm. They're like, the robot's fine. Bastion will be okay. You can hear
that's why I was
shouting.
looking around for something to craft because I was going to craft her a new arm.
Yeah, you can hear shouting. Above you. What are you gonna do? You're hanging from your sword arm.
Oh, I'm gonna claw my way back up this wall with my traction claws. That's
Nice.
a thing I do.
That is definitely a thing that you can do.
Yeah.
So is this a change in formation? And if so, what does it look like?
Yeah, this is another rune glow, I guess. Now all my fingers, except for the one I left behind, have orange runes glow on them, and they transform into these claws that are like giant lizard. They're like Viconica's claws, but made out of metal and 3 times as large. And she claws her way up the wall back up to the bridge.
Wicked. So, normally this would be a question of defying the danger of the climb, but since you have very specific narrative stuff, you have fictional positioning here, there's no roll. You just make your way up quickly and with grace.
Cool.
So you pull yourself up over the edge of the ancient bridge, and you see the chaos of the battle ahead of you.
Rad. I'll help somehow.
Yes, that sounds like a great idea.
I don't know what's. I'll jump on another Drake, I guess.
Okay. All right. So you do have to sprint to join the fray. So
Cool.
before that happens, Langus, you want to keep defending? You want to hold that one hold?
I think at this point he's on his own.
Right.
Slash.
Okay. All right. So before that happens, I want to give Viconica a chance to use her burning brand. So what do you do, Viconica? You have the dragon in hand.
I'm going to have the dragon attack the other drakes or dragons or whatever that are attacking it.
Okay. All right. So your range on this weapon is touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go and like get up close to touch them. So I think that there is some degree of danger. Which of the creatures do you want to attack? The one that's chomping on Dagalier, or one of the two that has it's trying to get through chew through Langish's shield?
Dagalier.
Yeah, you want to remember that way? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you're not necessarily threatened by its its direct attention, but it is like flapping its wings really hard and like flailing around. It's like trying to, like get in close enough to touch it. So how do you do that? Like describe how you run up to it. It's flapping around and its claws kind of like flashing in the waning light.
All right, and I guess it's a little bit further away from me because it flew over.
Yeah. It's not super far, but you can dash to it.
I actually get on all 4 of my legs, and I kind of like dig my claws into the ground and run towards it, and then take a leap onto the dragon and touch it.
Nice. Okay, cool. So I think this is, you're defying danger. It's either Dex or Strength. It sounds like Dex to me.
Yeah, and actually with Burning Brand, because that weapon, I can now use my int in place of Strength or Dex.
Excellent. Cool. All right, and that's for the int instead is for when you attack with it. So once you defy the danger of the flapping wings and slashing claws, you can plunge your int fire into it.
Okay, so I'll use my Dex.
Use your Dex. Okay, so it's your sinuous grace that allows you to try to bypass it.
Oh, and I failed.
Oh dear. Okay. Mark.
I
Mark
missed my
experience.
jump.
Mark experience. I think it's more just that it's maybe the thing is panicking more than you thought. And you get clawed on your way in. So you shove your hand in to hurt it, but not before it rends its claws down your arm. You take 6 damage, minus your armor, of course, if you have any. And then you plunge your hand into the creature. So you can. I think in this case you're not engaging it in melee, so you can just do damage to it. Because it's too busy chewing on Dagalier right now. We're trying to. So you're muted, Maggie.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. That's okay.
All right. It's just my damage, so say 1d8 then.
Yep. Okay, and you took the extra damage for the thing, right?
Yeah, -6.
Cool. Okay. So go ahead and describe how the touch of this fire dragon kills it. How it gets rid of it.
All right. It kind of like rears up its back wings, and like a ball of, you can kind of see the ball of flame. It's a little bit darker and redder, like coming up inside of the body of the dragon, because the dragon's kind of translucent, and it just like bolts out like a ball of fire and hits them.
Cool. Daglier, there's a sudden burst of flame, and then you're covered in ash and bits of like bone as the thing just like dissolves on top of you. You're muted too.
My eyes widen and I say, and with a touch she set it aflame. It's just like thinking of like lyrics for the song I'm writing for her. Yeah. Excellent.
Cool. All right. So Langus, the two that are on you, you want to attack them?
I would like to attack one of them.
Okay. Cool. So you're focusing on one and just trying to drive your sword into it. Okay.
I'm trying to just bring down one at a time here.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
So strength check.
Yeah. Go ahead and hack and slash.
11.
Awesome. Nicely done. So you deal your damage. You can deal an additional d6 if you want to, but if you do, you expose yourself to some harm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that would be d10 plus d6 plus 2 for strength plus 1 because my weapon is sharp.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah, in focusing on one of them, you absolutely, like you see its weak point. These things are not skilled fighters. You fought beasts, maybe not these ones, but like it before.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? How does this like
blocking the face with the shield, ducking under the shield, and driving the sword up, trying to aim for the underside of its mouth.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So you do that, no problem. In focusing particularly on the one that's like on your shield, you kind of lose track of the one that kind of like you were fighting before, the other one on your side, and it slinks down near your legs, and I think it wraps its tail around your legs and like pulls you off your feet.
Oh no!
So you tumble to the stone. You don't take any damage, but you fall prone, and this creature is readying itself to leap on you. But thankfully, Bastion, you are nearby. You're running towards the thing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do that thing where I stab it, but he doesn't see what's happening yet because I'm stabbing it from behind or something. You just see the blade go through its neck, and he looks up. He's like, who could have done that? Oh, it was Bastion. That's good.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So if you want to do this without the thing having a chance to attack, you have to get to it like as quickly as possible, right? You want to kill it before it realizes you're there. It sounds like you're using Dex, so why don't you defy danger with your dexterity?
Okay.
Cool.
That is a 6.
A 6. Okay. Well, mark experience.
Yes.
And these things are maybe smarter than they look. You come rushing towards it, and at the moment you're like getting ready to strike, it turns around, and a gout of hot ash and wind are blasted onto your armor. Now you can still attack, but you're now plunging your sword through this volcanic cloud, so you'll take some damage.
That's okay.
Pyroclastic flow.
Exactly. So you're gonna take five damage.
Okay.
And you got pretty good armor, right?
I have 3 armor.
Hell yeah! All right. So how does your armor react to the fire? Does it change in some way to protect you, or is it just that you're covered in thick plates?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems to be spurred on by this damage as though it's responding in anger. So yeah, like it kind of glows with a hotness. And I think when it blows the ash on her hood falls back too. You can kind of see all of her inhuman face.
Nice. Okay, cool. So the creature is now like fully got its attention on you, and you can attack it. You can hack and slash the thing now.
I will do that.
Cool.
And I got a 9, which is better.
Nice. Okay. So it follows up the hot blast by leaping at you, claws extended, but you also drive your blade into it. So you roll your damage.
Right. Many rolls. Oh, that's
All right. So
a 2.
you wound, but do not kill the creature.
Yeah, this one we're having a fight apparently. Like I thought it was cooler, and then it turned out to be cooler than me.
You hit it. I think you hit it in one of the like few places where it's still got like some of its kind of rust-colored scales. You don't stab it in the gelatinous like pink part. So you jam it against the scales and like break a bunch of them off and draw blood. But the thing is like up on you, flapping its wings and clawing at you.
Her eyes narrow.
Yeah, and I think that it continues to breathe that like hot forge air onto you, and instead of doing damage, what I'm going to do is it digs its claws into a chunk of your armor, and with a rending sound, like breaks them away. Right, it just like tears off some like piece of your armor. Does that hurt when that happens, or is it just like clipping your nails?
Oh, does it hurt? I mean,
Yeah. Can you feel it when it like tears your armor loose?
I can feel a loss.
Yeah,
A loss of self, a part of me. But it doesn't-
right, like a missing tooth or something.
Yeah. If you could pull your teeth out and it didn't hurt, it's probably what it would feel like.
Yeah, it's more like your teeth falling out, and then you're like, oh, there's a gap there. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Cool.
a gap.
Okay, so your armor, until someone can repair you, your armor is at -1.
Cool.
And there's a fucking thing on you. Dagalier, you have recovered enough from your initial assault. What
Yeah.
did you do?
So I look over at Langus, and he's been like clawed by these things, right?
Yeah. He got knocked on his butt, but
Yeah. Has he taken damage?
yeah. Are you hurt, Langus, or no?
No,
He's,
totally good.
Oh, dang. Okay.
he's just tactically repositioned, is all.
Yeah. I shout, "Tally ho!" and I run at the one that's like focusing on Langus, and I just try to stab it in the side with my rapier.
Well, there's actually, there's only one left, right? There's the one, there's others up in the nest, but they're kind of watching. There's only one on Bastion right now.
Oh,
Langus
okay.
killed-
The one on
Langus
Langus
killed
got
the one
killed.
who's fighting. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No. So I turn over to Bastion. And I shout, "Tally ho!" and I like run at that one. Wait, is Bastion hurt?
Yeah.
Oh well. Never mind then.
Not helping her. She's hurt.
No, I look at her and I like a light goes on in my eyes and I start strumming, dum 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 dum, and I sing, "Oh Yoshimi, they don't believe me. You won't let those robots defeat me, Yoshimi. They don't believe me.
Saving that one.
The robots eat me, Yoshimi."
Nicely done.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that song.
So, boom, wow,
Bam.
10, nailed it. So,
Dang.
Dramatic.
what exactly does that do for you? You heal 1d8 damage, and that's all.
I know I just healed 1d8 damage.
You heal 1 damage. Good job.
One.
Cool. I think that's all I needed, maybe.
Yeah, no, surely.
Actually, I took 2, so I'm done. I'm only done 1 now, I guess.
I'm like doing pretty bad.
I like it.
Not gonna lie.
You're
Yeah,
back.
like, hey, a little lad over here. Sing a
Yeah.
song about a lizard because I'm all fucked up over here. Awesome. Okay.
Ashton looks at you surprised. She's never seen this happen quite this way before.
Mhm.
She's enamored of your song.
Nice.
All right. So you still have two uses in your Dragon of Flame. Vykonika, what do you want to do? There's one of these creatures left, and then there's the like roost where the like less brave creatures are all kind of like huddled at the edge watching this to see whether they should swarm you or not.
Yeah. How many of them are in the nests watching?
Like several dozen, probably.
Oh shit. Okay. My worry is that if I do attack the last one, then I might die.
That is certainly possible. Yeah.
But I think Vikanika wouldn't care.
All right.
She would be headstrong and she'd go for it. So I will.
Okay. All right. So you want to leap into the fray. So yeah, hack and slash, and you can do so with your intelligence because of your weapon.
Alrighty.
All right. So yeah, you'll get an attack back. So go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. And then that's plus.
Whoa.
That seems excessive.
You rolled an 18.
Roll 1d. Yeah. What?
You didn't roll 1d8.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it added a 1 to the. You put an 8, which is right. It's a d8, but you have to put.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, so you do 3 plus 1, so you do 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that is enough to immolate this thing without too much trouble. However, I think you come running in, and the like whooshing sound of the flame attracts the thing's attention, and it throws itself at you as this like obvious new threat. And you plunge your hand and the dragon kind of around it into the thing's chest, and it starts to burn up. But as it does, it breathes, it spits its life's last breath upon you, and you take some damage from its vulcanite abilities. So you're gonna take 6 damage minus your armor, of course. And then the thing just turns to ash.
And that's fire damage?
No, it's just like regular type of damage. So your armor applies, but you take half, right? Because it's breathing the fire on you. So
okay. Because that would make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Some of it is fire, so that kind of ablates. Cool. Okay. So yeah, as sort of quickly as it started, the fray is over. There's like these piles of kind of like bone fragment and ash on the bridge where these creatures died, and they're just sort of blowing away in the wind that kind of blows through the.
I immediately point to the sky where the others hovering, and I say, "They're circling for more! Quick, tally ho, into the building!"
Yeah.
He says tally ho one more time as Lengus gets up and jogs after them.
Excellent.
Yeah, I make my way towards the entrance, but I kind of keep the fire dragon towards the back of us to kind of like help us, aid us in.
Yeah, because you've got one more use of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's everybody going to do? They take to the air. They start to like, do the birds thing, and they're going to start like coming down, trying to pick at you as you run for the door. What is everyone doing? Right. I know, Vikanika, I know what you're up to, but.
I say, run, I'll hold it back.
I say, run, Lingus will hold it back.
All right.
I'll run forward and try and open the rusted iron gate.
Okay. All right. Cool. So the two of you run for the gate. Langus and Vikanika kind of provide cover. And Daglier, what are you doing? You're just going to run along with Bastion?
I'm going to aid Bastion in her attempt to open the gate.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah, Bastion, you run up to the gate, and it's just big metal doors. They like the rest of the tower, they have kind of like a striated like water damage kind of like marks on them. So the top of the doors are the least like rusted, down to the bottom where they're starting to like flake through to the core. They're well shut. There's places where they're you can see they've kind of fused together. It'll take a significant feat of strength to sort of tear them open. What do you do?
Okay. Since they're made out of the same thing I am, more or less, can I see specific weaknesses where I can precisely slice or punch to create like a hole big enough for us?
Yeah. Do you have like a specific move for that?
Not really.
Okay, that's cool.
No.
So you're just discerning the reality of these things.
Yeah.
I was just making sure you didn't have like a Terminator vision kind of thing, but yeah, go ahead and discern realities.
Oh yeah. So instead of discern realities, I have total recall. That's my thing that I do.
Nice. Okay, so how does total recall work?
It looks the same, except it has different questions.
Okay.
So I have like, what could turn the tides of battle? What's the biggest threat in my mission? What weakness could I exploit? That kind of thing.
Yeah, there's the one. Okay, so you take a moment to get a view of the place. Yeah, go ahead and make that roll, and we'll see how well you do. Boom, just destroy it. Okay,
Dude,
so,
you and your tens. What?
I don't know. I'm gonna roll tonight. I'm gonna roll.
Sebastian, you can ask 3 questions.
Cool. Where's a weakness I could exploit?
You're looking for the door, like the door specifically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the 2 doors have kind of fused together, but the tides of time have kind of like weakened them to the point where it would be easier to go through them than to try to open them. So you can see several places where hitting them really hard would weaken them enough that you could break through. That does, however, preclude the idea of closing them behind you.
Cool. Okay. What happened here recently?
I mean, recent is relative. These doors haven't been opened in some time, but you see lying kind of at the foot of the door. I think maybe like some ragged bits of robe and one of the curved stone knives that the water cult uses for their like rituals, and it's stained dark with human blood.
Oh, sad stories. Okay. The only other question that's funny that makes sense is who here is the commander?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's what's fairly obvious, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, in the enemy force, there isn't one, right? Like they're kind of an anarchic pack. So we'll turn the question to I think Daglier certainly thinks that he's a commander in this situation. But maybe the hierarchy is not so well defined.
Maybe we don't know yet. Maybe we'll find out more soon.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
All right.
So you two, Vikanika and Langus, you want to buy time for your companions. So yeah, why don't you one of you roll a defy danger, and the other can help.
I will assist you, Neil.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Also, I rolled that 1d4 because I forgot that if I take an odd amount of damage, I get to roll a 1d4 and add that to
your charges, right?
Burning brand.
Yes.
So actually have 3.
Excellent. Yeah. So the brand renews itself.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Cool. All right.
So Langus, I think his style is to defy danger just by buckling down and enduring through it. So he's gonna call on a roll.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you just set your feet, hold your shield up, and let the tide of creatures bash against you.
And then I put my dragon in front of your shield or something. I don't
Nice.
know. Aim it towards the front of your shield.
Yeah, it's very heroic. There's probably some slow motion. This dragon fire limiting your shield as these things batter against it, and that buys time for Bastion and Daglier to do something. What do you want to do?
Cool. Sebastian.
Well, I feel like as part of helping Bastion, what Daglier does is he goes leans up on the game and says, "Say, Bastion, old friend, do you remember that time we were in that tight spot with those water beasts coming across the plains, and you turned into a literal tank?" Just rolling on and on, just telling about some ancient war story that he has together. So.
As she's analyzing the
So I definitely help you in a very serious way.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
Oh, did you roll helping?
Oh yeah, you get a +1, and I do not expose myself to danger, reputation, or cost.
Rad. So she says, "Hold on a second, Daglier," and then her arm turns into a dagger again, and she concentrates on that spot and shoves her arm through.
Cool.
She gets through it, and she's all "Now continue on."
So because you discern realities first, this roll, I actually feel like you don't even like with all this help and everything, I think, yeah, I guess you should defy danger technically. So the danger is you don't get through it before an opportunity for the creatures to break through. But you've got the +1 from your robot discern realities. You've got another one from Daglier, and then do you have a bonus to your strength?
Yeah, with the blade, so that's 3, I guess.
Yeah, so you got +3, so it should be easy for you.
Oh, and my strength is a 2, so
you have a total of 4.
yes,
+4.
thank you.
Yeah.
13.
Nice. Yes, you have disassembled the door in the swiftest way possible. And I think that like you what does that look like? So are you it's the same, I imagine, the same precision as the way you fight with, or is there some other?
Oh yeah, totally. It's very precise. And a little bit of it, I imagine the blade gets a little hot, and like some of the edges of the metal grates like melt and drip in a molten puddle. And Daglier has to take a few steps back in order not to get someone his fancy elf.
Yeah. I like that. There's like sparks flying as you like punch in high speed through the weakened areas of the door, and then just give it a shove, and the broken part falls in.
Yeah.
And I think that like the thing that you immediately notice when you break the seal on the door, there's a cool, moist like air that flows outward from the fortress. You can feel it. I don't know how Bastion senses physical, stuff, right? But if your surface acts like skin, you can feel like it condenses on you.
Sure, there's a weight on my skin.
Yeah, and Daglier, you can smell like moist, the smell of like wet stone from within. Cool. Okay, so do you let your companions know that the way is clear?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll shout down. Viconica, Langus, doors open.
Okay, I do a fighting retreat with Viconica.
Yeah, I'm kind of like shooting balls of fire. He's like shielding. We're like making our way to the door.
Nice. Okay.
When I get to the door, I actually want to summon a flaming door that kind of stands in the way once we get through.
Oh, cool. Okay, so what? You want to like use your? I think if you want to use up the rest of your.
What I want to use.
Yeah, and the fire that you're shaping is your brand, right?
Sure, I could my burning brand is a separate thing, but I could use that if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, because the way it works is there has to be a fire to burn. So I think if you give up the brand, you can have it stay in place for as long as your will sustains it. So because you've got your like 3 charges, so you can set it in place.
All right, so I have my dragon kind of form into a doorway in the doorway, and it lasts for a shorter effect. So
yes, short-lived,
but at least it'll do something. Hopefully.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so the dragon takes the shape of a block, and the creatures throw themselves against it. It's the first few hit it full force and just turn to ash. The rest kind of like crouch down around it, kind of hissing angrily that their meal has been stolen away from them. But it won't last. And you turn, and you can see the 4 of you. There's a long, wide hallway extending out into the wet dark of the fortress ahead of you. The walls here are like sweating. There's like rivulets kind of running down them into the cracks in the floor. Everything has kind of soft edges where water has like eroded them. And you can hear above the sort of like crackling of the flame and the hissing of the creatures, you can hear somewhere down the way the sound of like water flowing, which to like some of you might be like an unfamiliar sound. Like you've all heard it before, but it's pretty rare to hear like this. Like there's an odd bubbling noise.
Yeah.
Before checking anything out, I turn back to, God, your name is so hard to remember, Viconica. And I sheathe my sword, put my hand on your shoulder, and say, "You are more sturdy than I gave you credit for. Perhaps I was wrong about your soft, moist skin making you fragile."
I kind of let a little chuckle go by, and then I'm like, well, a heart is only something that you can think that you have. I'm not always as strong as I may appear. And then I move forward and I kind of like look out at what we're at right now. And then I'm kind of like, I'm actually not handling it very well because I'm kind of not feeling very well. But I'm trying to look like I'm feeling well just because of what you said to me. So I'm like, all right, I gotta like look tough.
Right. Yeah. Someone's like, you're totally tougher than you look. And you're like, hell yeah, no, I totally am. Yep.
And she was humble too.
She's not doing so hot, just put it that way.
Yeah. Puns. Okay. So you wanna just like press on ahead, and you were Vikanika, you're taking the lead because you know the barrier is not going to last very long.
I'm curious, like, is there any way for us to like rest briefly and gain back some small amount of our?
We can camp, but I don't think this is the place.
I mean, this is the like
It's
you've
all
got
like camping.
you've got like a minute or so before this fire barrier burns itself out, and then those creatures maybe come after you.
Yeah, maybe I even say as I'm moving forward, I'm like, we must hurry. The door will only last for so long.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
All right.
I can,
Volunteers to take the point.
all right. I can see in the dark, so maybe I can find a place for us to hide from the drakes that are soon to be coming for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somehow.
All right. Yeah. So you wanna take a look around and try to find. You said somewhere to hide. You want to find like another tunnel or?
Yeah. Is it just like a long hallway?
Yeah. As far as you can see right now, right? You only have light from outside.
Yeah. So I was imagining I could see further with my darkness eyes, but maybe not. We can just move forward too, and that's totally fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll let you know. You're keeping an eye out for that opportunity, and I'll let you know kind of more what you see as you head in.
Cool.
So yeah. So as you move further into the hallway, you notice at first just a few of them, and then they get like more and more as you go. Above you, there are tied to the walls and corners above you. There are long strings of blue like fabric tied together, sort of like pennants or kerchiefs. And at first, there's just a few of them kind of like hanging above you, and they're dripping with some of the like condensation in this place. And then the farther down you go, the more and more there are, until you're having to like move them out of your way to pass down the hallway. And you notice as you're moving, they have like embroidery on them. There's like letters embroidered on them.
Do we recognize this? Can we roll to see if we recognize it?
Yeah. I mean, it's in an ancient tongue, but I mean, maybe Dagalier, maybe you recognize it.
Like, I think the only way that I would be able to recognize it if it's something related to unusual creatures.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only lore I know.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I'd just take a moment and I kind of like put my hand around the thing and look and kind of like gaze at it for a moment and just see if I can recognize anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so you don't recognize the words exactly. Some of the characters you recognize. They seem to be a sort of primitive form of the language, the like written language that the salamanders use. Some like ancient form maybe or dialect that you don't recognize.
I kind of look at Dagalier because I'm guessing you're also kind of.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm probably like looking at them trying to figure out. I'm like, I'm just like, it's not quite coming to me, but then maybe like you jog my memory. Can I spout lore to try to know more about this?
Yeah. And that's what Viconica was doing. So yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
So I kind of look at it and I'm like, it feels as though this is some kind of ancient salamander language.
Oh, could I
I
help?
recognize some of these letters.
Yeah, if you want to help, you can roll and try to bump that 9 up to its
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll sort of
you recollect
there, and
something.
I'm like salamander, salamander, and then like I sort of like go back through the song I'm buzzing. Viconica, the salamander, she came from the lineage of, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do help, but I do put myself at cost, risk, or danger, or whatever.
Okay. All right.
So I guess like I walk up to them and I'm like running my fingers along them and like pressing my nose very close to them, and then I'm like, couldn't this symbol be something like whatever?
So it's not even like the language to you just looks like fanciful whatever, right? Like you can't place it, but you recognize the behavior, right? You recognize the strung together kerchiefs. And while not exactly the same, there is a tradition among certain more sentimental elves of writing their their sort of regrets or things that they wish had been different in their life, writing them on pieces of cloth and tying them in this fashion. No one, I think, really remembers where that tradition came from, but it's just something that like sticks around. And it's sort of a way of like letting go of those things that, in a life eternal, you build up, right?
Yep, that's tough.
Yeah.
So
that's
he jogs my memory by telling me this, or is that what we come to?
That's what the two of you come to together, like that information. And they're bits. It's weird because it's an elven tradition and it's a weird version of the salamander language being used in a temple to the water cult.
Yeah, very strange. Most perplexing. Shall we tally ho?
Yes.
Viconica makes a smirk. She likes that.
Okay. All right. So it's a little unnerving going forward from here because you're basically like pushing through these like hanging cloths to.
So they're like close enough to the ground that we're like.
They are by now. Yeah, they've collected such that you're having.
That's kind of like bothering me a little bit, I think, because I'm in a lot of pain, and I actually, for once, really show it and kind of like lean up against the wall that's there, and I'm like, I need a moment.
Can I sing my song at her while she's like out of combat?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay.
Can I just go up and sing my song in her face?
Yeah, I do. I walk
she's
up.
She's like, I don't feel so well. I need a moment. You just come up here like, boom.
Yeah, exactly. I walk up behind her. I strum my chord and I sing, "Love is a burning thing that makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire."
Please fail this roll so I can drop you into a ring of fire now.
Yeah, pretty much. These rolls have not. Nope. I'm marking that XP. Here we go.
Steven, thank you so much. You immediately light on fire. No, that's. You come over, and I guess Viconica, how are you responding to this singing? Because before you were kind of distracted with like combat and shit, and now Dagalier's like, let me sing.
I guess because it's like he's trying, but it's like it's not a very good song, and I'm in pain right now, so I'm a little annoyed. Maybe I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Part of me thinks he might be hitting on me, which also annoys me even more.
That's fair.
Excellent. Okay. So I think what happens is I'm gonna give you a debility. If there was a hurt feelings debility, I'd give you that.
That's fair.
I mean, to take confused. You're confused.
I don't understand.
Yeah, well, because your singing's very inspiring, but
yes,
Nothing.
Why isn't this working?
Yeah. So yeah, you take the confused ability, and yeah, you feel like maybe be a little like uncertain.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So just come over here that I may abuse you and feel better about myself.
At the sort of head of the column, Bastian, you sense a change in the pressure of the hallway. There's a large like chamber ahead through this sort of like last curtain of hanging cloth.
Hey everyone, there's a chamber ahead. Should we move forward?
No.
Yes.
We should tally ho.
Viconica, what do you think?
We must move forward. There's no turning back.
Right.
And she kind of like starts moving closer, but like she's kind of like using the wall a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Are all elves as annoying as you?
We strive to be.
Okay. All right. So you press on, and yeah, as promised by your sensors, the room beyond is it's a circular chamber, and there are three, like basically ahead of you, three tunnels that lead off, but in the center of the circle there is a what looks like the basin of a fountain, and it's empty now, though you can hear it's quite deep, so you can hear the sort of like watery, like bubbling or something from it. There may still be some water at the base of it, and kneeling in front of it, so kind of between you and the fountain's basin, there's a massive humanoid shape made of stone. It's more or less like bipedal, right? Like it's got head shape and big arm shapes and leg shapes, but it's very crude. It may have at some point in the distant past held more detail, but has now been worn down to this like smooth kind of like block of stone. And it's kneeling like on both knees in front of the fountain. It has its elbows up on the fountain's lip and its hands clasped together with its head down. And buried in basically every like surface of its back are like it's bristling with weapons. There are like spears embedded in it, swords, and they're all like rusted and ancient. Just kind of like bristling up like the quills of a porcupine from this huge thing. And you figure if it were to stand, it would be 15 feet tall probably. And it's kneeling on the floor. And
Clarification: is this thing alive or dead?
Hard to say. It's not moving. It's just like still with its elbows up, sort of praying before the fountain.
Bastion's gonna get a closer look.
I'm going to like examine the situation carefully from the vantage point that I have as Bastion advances forwards.
Same.
Something with this many spears in it can't be good.
Discerning realities.
All right. Yeah, Diggler, go ahead and roll.
Here we go with DAT -1. Oh yeah. XP farming.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. So, Daglier, I think, you realize how you're standing here, like looking around, like being kind of cautious, and you take a breath in, and there's like a kind of like wheezing quality to the breath, like when it comes in, like you catch your breath and it like comes in a sort of jagged, like you have a hard time taking it, and then like you breathe out and there's like a hissing sound kind of in your throat. And you feel like something, there's like a dampness like in your lungs that's maybe concerning you a little. Like kind of wheezing a bit. You feel lightheaded. So while that's happening, Viconica, you have had the opposite of Steven's success on that roll. You got a 14.
Finally.
So you can ask me 3 questions from the
All right.
list. What would you like to know?
I guess that I would want to say, what is about to happen?
Well, Bastion is striding up towards this creature, the statue. It's gonna wake up.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a sudden sense of impending energy. Yeah, it'll come to life.
What should I be on the lookout for?
You should be on the lookout for this thing not having context or understanding for your being here and overreacting.
I'm guessing it's probably going to attack us or something.
Yeah, mate.
I guess what here is useful or valuable to me?
Well, I mean, it depends. Let me interrogate your intentions a little. Why are you here? Like you personally, right? Like if this place represents some artifact of the fire cults, you know, what here is value, or of the water cult, what here is valuable to you depends on what your intentions are, right?
I guess anything that I can sacrifice to the flame dragon.
Yeah.
That will give me an advantage in doing so.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, if the fountain does indeed contain a source of water, what's valuable here is that, so you can destroy it. You can wreck the thing, and the fire dragon would be very pleased about that.
There are people who need that water.
That's right. There are salamanders who don't need that water. Yeah, so that's what's valuable to you. Langus, what are you doing while these two are taking things in, and as Bastion strides across the room?
I think I'm following along with Bastion.
Yeah?
Yeah, sword drawn. Careful.
Excellent. Okay. Cool. So yeah, you approach ready for action. Bastion, what do you do as you approach? Describe that for me.
Bastion walks excitedly towards this stone statue because Bastion read about stone creatures once. That could be real. They could be real.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of slowly walks around to try and like see its face.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So if it had a face, it is now long since worn off by the long years. It seems like, again, everything is like really smooth about this thing. So in place of a face, it just has some sort of like marbling in the stone. But that being said, it has a sort of, you feel a sort of like mournfulness to the thing as you approach it.
Cool.
Yeah.
She'll lean in closer, like over the fountain, and like her eyes will get really wide and shiny and reflect the face in her eyes, you know.
Right. Yeah. We see the thing's faceless expression in your.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And like get really close and like wave a hand in front of it.
Okay. Yeah. I think it responds. So it takes a second, like from when you walk up, but yeah, you see its fingers kind of like unclasp, and its hands move slowly down to the edge of the fountain, yeah, it kind of like pushes itself very slowly to its feet, and in doing so dislodges a few of the like things jammed into its back. So like a spear falls and breaks on the floor. Maybe a rusted dagger crumbles away, and yeah, the thing like slowly stands to its full height and turns to face you.
When it turns to face us, can I recognize it as an important creature?
Yeah, absolutely.
My bardic lore.
Yeah, get it.
So I'm guessing that this is
Steven
like
just waiting to do it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that this is like the water entity that was severely damaged in the wars and that sort of thing. So I guess like my one question is, how could we kill it?
Well, I mean, it's a big ass statue made out of stone, so attacking it with, swords probably isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the weapons impaled in it?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
I think getting it to give up would be how you kill it, right?
Mhm.
It has a purpose, right? It's the supplicant of stone, and it's meant to stay here and pray for the return of the water god. And if you could convince it that it's, you're gonna have to like nihilism it to death, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Or convince it that that's already happened, right? Be like, no, you're done, you're free, buddy. It'll just crumble. It'll have fulfilled its purpose.
Yeah. So yeah. God, what's your name? Viconica. I sort of like whisper to you. I say, Viconica.
Hanukkah.
Viconica. Sorry. You must convince it that there is no hope, and that all of the water has vanished from the world, and that it is the last bastion of a dying race. Oh, you can do this.
I guess how would I do that? Just parlay with it?
I mean, maybe. I mean, you could just talk to it first.
Yeah, I guess I'll talk to it and I'll use my give me fuel, give me fire, which is
Nice.
when I
Well,
look into its
so
eyes.
the trick is, though, you have to look into its eyes, and it has none. It has a featureless face. So you'll have to find a way to get at it more metaphorically. You
Okay.
can't just give it the old death stare.
All right.
These guys haven't said anything about talking it down, have they? And they haven't said anything about it being a neutral or conceivably good creature, have they?
No one's really said anything. It's just sort of like slowly stood.
We're having this conversation quickly.
Yeah, you're kind of farther away from Bastion and I. So I think Langus turns back and looks directly at the elf and says, "Write a good song about me," and leaps at the creature with a weapon.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about your sword. How special is this sword?
I mean, it is. It is ancient, well crafted, sharp, and held in a hand.
Excellent. Okay. And what's your intent here? To like harm the thing, or like
Yes.
just engage it in combat? Okay.
My intent is to destroy what I perceive as a guardian of all the remaining water left on the planet.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I don't think there's no melee, right? You're not fighting it. You just like leap to attack it. And
swing my sword at the things that have, there's things stuck in it. So I'm going to add my sword to the pile.
Well, and so where I think all these other swords, broke or stuck or failed, the ancient sword of House Volmator does a better job.
Really?
Yeah. So I think you leap, and it's like slowly reaching its hand out towards Bastion, and maybe the two of you see it. Yeah, it's got this like huge stone hand that's like slowly reaching towards it, and you just leap out and slash at it. And I think you carve through the stone, as though 'twere flesh, and it doesn't pull its hand back or respond because it does everything so slowly. But you cut a deep gouge in the stone, and clear, cold water starts to pour from the wound in its hand, and it stops, and there's just this water dripping down off its elbow. And it turns its hand almost quizzically towards its face, as if to sort of look at it to be surprised. And doesn't react violently, doesn't respond by attacking you, but just seems confused and is just sort of staring into its palm.
I think Langus is confused.
Yeah. There's a moment of confusion for everyone.
Bastion is not confused.
I begin moving forward. I can't run really fast right now because I'm I'm feeling super bad. Just gonna keep putting that out there. So
Yeah.
I kind of move forward and am Langus, put down your weapon. And then I try to get the attention of the what are we calling this? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
The Stone Guardian.
Yeah, it's
Stone
like I in my notes I called it the supplicant, but
I'll call him like a stone guardian or something.
yeah, sure.
And I say to him, Stone Guardian, what is your name?
It turns like just quizzically, as if noticing you for the first time, but doesn't seem to possess the ability to speak.
Perhaps you cannot speak. We've come here to find you, to tell you you are the last of your kind, to see if you still existed.
Okay. Yeah, it stands listening. Or not. It's hard to say. It's totally motionless. It's just like water kind of like dripping off of its elbow onto the floor.
I'm curious, Adam. Can I start like playing like a rising tune by way of aiding
Yeah.
Iconica? Yeah, like I start just like strumming some chords under what she's saying, and like as she builds up in like her speech, I'm like, the chords are crescendoing and stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So what do you want to do here, Viconica? Like what do you want it to turn off?
Yeah, I'm trying to convince it that it's the last of its kind, and that what I'm going to go for is that it's the last of its kind. There's no way that it can complete its goal, that there is a higher power and a grander kind of deity that it should follow, and that it can grant it the power of freedom.
So so go roll your parlay, because that is a thing that it wants. It wants to rest.
Does it smoke pipe leaf?
No, it doesn't.
Another sin of the
Oh yes.
All right.
And you get a +1.
Oh yeah,
so it's even better. Okay, so with the tune, the Daglier plays in the background, echoing off the stone. So it's going to ask you for something in exchange. You have to make a promise. And so I think this is a thing that's for the rest of you. Maybe actually it's not clear to any of you, Viconica, but Bastion, you somehow like are able to perceive the desires of this thing, not through it's not saying words to you, but you feel that sort of mournful like feeling, and you can sense its systems starting to like power down. And all that it wants, it'll turn off and it'll give up what it protects. If someone will like stay with it, that you won't just like leave it as it powers down. It doesn't want to be alone. It's been alone so long.
Aww.
Robot tears.
Yeah.
Bastion's eyes are as big as pools of water, maybe. And he or she reaches out to the stone creature's hand and grabs it and walks towards it and sits down on the fountain.
It sits down on the edge of the fountain and kind of like slumps its shoulders a little bit. And with you sitting next to it, you can see the sort of area around its chest start to like crumble away, and it's like watching clay with like water fast running over it. So it kind of gets soft at first, and then this like stream of water is just like pour out of its chest. And
I
it
walk
kind of
over
like
to the fountain as well and kind of put my hand on it.
Yeah. And so it's
touch where the water is.
Yeah, it's starting to like crumble, and the water pouring out of it pours into the basin of the fountain, and you hear water start to like rush somewhere like out in the tower, and maybe we get a shot from outside of the tower like opening up, and water like pouring out of it and starting to fill the like crater basin. The little fire drakes that are like outside, they all immediately like take to the air and like fly off. And given we're so close to the end, maybe that's the last shot, right? It's just this long panorama of the water being like filled up in the crater.
I thought it was a demon. I thought it was a demon.
Oh, so sad and beautiful.
And I is that what your character's saying, Neil?
Mm-hmm.
And I look back at Langus and I'm like, I told you, not every creature is a demon. Not every creature is a beast.
Sweet.
Whoa.
So normally this would be the part where we do end of session and we get XP and we go through our bonds and resolve those. But we'll do the one shot on stream hack version. So at the end of the session, you could tell everybody where they can follow you on Twitter and if you want them to check out any of your stuff. So we'll do end of session shout outs. Steven,
Yes.
would you in your terrible British accent like to start us off?
Yes. So if my terrible British accent has not driven you away from me completely, you may find me elsewhere online at Silent Osiris, where the O is a 0. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat at that address. I do streaming of Dungeons and Dragons stuff a lot, much of the time with JP, and of course also with Mr. Koval here as well. And I guess that's it. And if we were doing end of session stuff, then I would just like to say that my chaotic alignment to spur others to significant and unplanned decisive action was definitely achieved. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Maggie, how about you go next?
Sure. You guys can follow me at Margaret Crone in literally all the places. I stream on Twitch. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, all of the things. I also work for NCSoft, and we make lots of awesome games. You guys should check those out if you're interested in some of those. And I guess that's kind of all I got. And on par with Steven, I would say that I have also, because I am a chaotic lining, I think that I convinced it that, Flame Dragon is probably the person it should follow.
Yeah. Sounds good. Cool. Kira?
Yeah, you can follow me at Kira Nanzi on Twitter, and I design some role-playing games sometimes, and I have one for sale right now. It's a zine. It's a cyber witch zine. It's feminist, and it has cool, diverse creators, and there's a few games and fiction in there, kind of looking at social justice through a cyberpunk lens. So definitely check that out. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of it. My co-creators are awesome.
That sounds pretty cool.
It is.
It's called Resistor. Did I say that?
Chat's got you covered.
Cool.
Yes, it is very cool. Definitely go and check that out. Neil, tell us about yourself.
I am Koibu at all the places except for Twitter and YouTube, which is Koibu0. And I do a lot of D&D, almost exclusively 2nd edition D&D on my stream pretty much all the time, except for this week where I'm moving. I have a really cool single-player D&D campaign going on called Dicing with Death, which you should check out. And that's all I got for you guys.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for playing. This has been the Roll20CON edition of Dungeon World. Stick around, because right after the vamp, I'm going to be back to GM a bunch of people playing some Tenra Bancho Zero. We're going to get our Kabuki drama on. I am going to save my shout-outs till the end of that. So thanks for coming, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for inviting us.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.